Awesome. So, who wants to recap?
Not I.
Of course, not you.
Okay, we're gonna just get through this real quick.
Do it.
So we were at the Lucky Stump. Mechanicus was asleep.
Abbreviated
Maeve's in
version.
the bathhouse. The rest. Oh, and Hellscream stayed at the inn. Well, the rest went to follow a crowd that this group dragged this old guy to in the center of town, named Benson Roland. And pretty much, the Order of Flames condemned this guy for the use and study of witchcraft, and burned him in front of everybody. After that was all said and done, they left. Jillian went up and grabbed a necklace that was there, and I guess some of his ashes. Meliodas went after them, pretty much stating that it wasn't right. They didn't have any proof. So everyone was a little bit upset about that. They make it back inside the inn. They meet up with a pretty well-dressed guy named Garen, who brought up a proposition about finding these discs for his employer. He said he would pay 5,000 pounds for one disc and something else if we find any other artifacts and stuff. He said he'd come back at dawn to see whether or not he would accept it. Then Jillian swiped his coin purse. Then she opened it up in front of everybody, and there was a tussle between Jillian and Theo. Words were said, and everybody went to bed. Come next day, we're all eating breakfast. Garen comes by. We really didn't take. We pretty much just stated that if we find what you're looking for, we know where to meet you, but we're not signing your contract and putting our hand in this little gizmo thing. Wasn't happening. And Theo gave back the coin purse, and off we went to go find us some goods. Since we're going to be climbing a cliff, we needed climbing gear. Go in there into a shop. There's a half-elf and then a little child in there, a halfling girl, who made a mention of some special drinks. And so Meliodas and Mechanicus went about trying to get those. Mechanicus doing his best of getting, I guess, everybody in trouble and trying to get the guy in trouble, but somehow Meliodas calmed it down and they got their special drinks. I think everybody but Meliodas and Mechanicus bought a climbing set. I think Hellscream just bought climbing boots only, and everyone else bought a pack. And we were on our way out, heading towards the forest to climb those cliffs.
And this is why she should recap every time.
Whatever, punk.
And by the way, is that a fucking Mata I see?
Yes, sir.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
dude, I haven't had a fucking Mata in like months.
Yeah, we're hating you
Yo, I know. I'm sorry, bro.
right now. God.
They don't really sell it over here.
Yeah, they
Especially
don't.
my favorites.
Yeah, you suck.
I'll send you guys a package.
A care package. There you go.
Yeah, give me your address.
All right, so where we left off, you arrived at the town of Vanir. I keep saying it wrong. Vanir. Once booming town of ancient antiquities until they banned it. But arriving at Vanir was only to be a checkpoint before setting off to finding a man known as Waynon. Which is the last known. He was at the ancient Argwithian sites known as the Ruins of Thine. But as you were saying, after arriving, you witnessed a gruesome execution of a patron known as Benson Roland, performed by grim figures, which you now know as the Order of the Flame. The commoners who live in the kingdom know them as Inquisitors, if anything else, a faction created by the hand of Celio to seek and destroy those who perform hearsay against the word. After a night's rest, you finally prepare to venture towards your next location, which provided you and your cohort to scale a large rock surface known as the Red Cliff. So at this point, you're heading due north. Put on the map for that.
I love how he talks, but his mic is muted.
Sorry about that. I was pressing control, and that's my freaking to try to get everybody there, and that's my mute button. So everyone's at this point on this soft path due north. It's not a well-known path, not well-known, but it's not well-used path as opposed to the ones that you have going from town to town. But this path leads up to where you see this opening, which is a large canyon between caught within the forest, actually. Part of one of the rivers that actually cuts off that goes north, which follows a path. One second. So, as you continue north, it begins to near about an hour as you trek. At this point, you begin to understand the scale of the Red Cliff as you close the distance as you start nearing the forest. Clusters of the forest canopy gave hints of a deep orange, adding to the mystery of and beauty of Haverlock. The cliff, as you approach, you see towering over the canopy like a rampart of stone, which glinted in a gray, blue, and dull crimson, painted by the rising sun at this point in the morning. That while you guys are approaching the northern region at this point. The forest below kind of resemble like a small shrubbery in comparison to this giant curtain of quartz. At the top, you can see a thick mist roll off, as would the top of a waterfall, but instead dissipates as you see the mist fall over the craggy wall. Though the sun directly on you, this morning brings a chill, a cool breeze, reminding you that the end of harvest season is coming to an end. At this point, if you guys want anything to say as you trek for the next couple of hours, you may do so. Anything to share with your patrons, or sorry, your companions, as you're closing the distance, following the river up north, as you see the forest close near. As usual, you see Filmaruk taking the lead. As you notice, sometimes he mutters to himself, as he occasionally has shown. Sometimes he pulls out his cigarette, not in a most stealthy approach, but you can tell he tries to hide it.
As we're trekking on these paths, as I've already made a commitment to document the surroundings and and to explore my cartography skills, I'd like to, once we get a moment to like rest, because I've been kind of just silent, I've been just focusing on nature and just kind of to myself the whole time, still contemplating the events that happened the day before.
Okay. As you walk the path in your own space and world, as you silently keep trekking with your companions, you begin to notice the flocks of different birds, geese, start heading towards the south. As you recognize every time the season begins to change. Anybody else before I move on?
I just want to scavenge for food as we
Okay.
walk along the trail.
So at this point we're like nearing maybe like the first 2 hours. And Thumeric is kind of marching forward, not noticing if anybody wants to stop for a break or at least forage to continue the trek.
Okay.
You continue just to kind of just forage and try to do your thing while the rest
I
of
don't
your
want
group
to
is
say like
moving.
I'm full like forage. I'm talking about like if I see like some berries along the way, like I start picking at it.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and at this point you start seeing shrubbery, not necessarily like in a wide open grassland, but perhaps with a perception roll you might find something.
$21, motherfucker.
21.
We starting good. We starting good today.
As you're just trekking by, you looking about, not necessarily berries catch your attention as you're heading north. You do see a couple of critters, animals like squirrels, kind of going about. And pretty much you see them in one particular tree, just kind of scurrying around it. They look like there's at least 2 of them that are kind of just playing amongst themselves.
So where there's squirrels, there must be nuts.
Great possibility.
So I want to just real quick check the bark of the tree.
Okay. You go up to the tree, basically where the squirrels are kind of just scurrying around. As soon as you approach it, they just scurry off, and you see them kind of go up to the tree, into the branches. But you get up to it. What is it you want to know about the bark?
I want to find them nuts, bro.
You know what? Roll a survival check.
8.
An 8. You're looking at the tree. You're looking up. It's like, so, where does the nuts come from? And where they're hiding the nuts? Not too sure. As you're kind of looking around, you know that they usually have, they usually start gathering at this time, this season, but you have no clue where they're hiding their nuts, man. Miguel, just real quick, you want to on your own time, like, or are you just saying it like in general for the map itself?
I guess it would be on my own time. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'd say if you attempt to do this you can do like a rough sketch while you're walking, kind of just remembering your current status on the trek itself, but it won't be like the finished product of what you're trying to achieve or accomplish, basically.
Right. I think I want to do like an outline, just sort of later I'll fill it in.
Okay.
You know, just so I have like I just want to write like landmarks and stuff. Like,
Okay. Just go ahead and roll a God, what's the cartography?
Cartography.
Yeah. Just go ahead and roll.
Yes. Oh,
Awesome.
Okay.
So, yeah, you
I had to roll the
You-
24.
whip out 24. You start sketching away. Start adding all the little landmarks that you happen to cross. At this point, you're just getting a great layout. You feel really confident of this layout as you're approaching the northern passage, I should say. Yeah, I just noticed you. I just noticed you. You whispered the roll, by the way. Just FY.
I know.
Okay.
I know. I got rid of it.
All right. And anyone else as we keep trekking north?
As we're going, I just want to glance around and see if I find any medicinal herbs
Okay.
that I could pick up.
You go ahead and roll. Would it be? I guess it would be survival for foraging. A 17.
17.
Oh man, where is that sheet now? So, as you're with the party, you noticed your typical herbs that you would happen to use for kind of fillers. Certain plants that actually help with creating pastes and creating certain poultices. You do find a particular plant. It's called a yarrow. It's a right here somewhere. Blah, 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 blah. It's a particular herb that you know that promotes healing, reduces bleeding, sometimes fight off, or sometimes used for fighting off infections. It's yarrow has an important herbal remedy that you can apply directly in poultices and directly on injuries, especially on like gashes, which is one of the most effective uses for it. It's as you find it, you can tell it's like a white fern, that has like foliage around it.
I'm going to pick up as much of that as I can as
Okay.
we're walking.
All right, and with that 17 that you roll, aka weed, just saw that. You found 5. You found 5 plants on the way, 5 that you can gather.
Nice.
Anyone else? I never thought I was going to use that. I'm so glad I made that whole thing with plants.
Sorry, man, nothing comes to mind.
All right. So, no, if nobody else, pretty much, if nobody else attempts to do anything while we're walking up north, we get to the better half of another 2 hours or so as you continue to trek north. After a while, you notice where you're passing at this point part of the forest, and around the bend on the path as you continue up north, as this point, as the sun is starting to rise above, you see from a distance what looks like a fortified tower. It's right now probably closing into maybe a mile, perhaps a little bit more. You can tell it's a man-made structure. At this point, you see Thumric kind of just shuffle and then come to a stop, and he begins to kind of sit down, pulls out what looks like a small piece of jerky, and he starts snapping his teeth over it and start munching on it as he's pretty much gazing forward at this tower.
You're familiar with this place?
I've been here one time, but before then we didn't have this ban, so I don't know what type of hostility, if there might be, we might be approaching. He keeps snapping a piece of jerky as he's just munching on it this time. As you notice, he's taking just a quick breather, but at the same time just observing. I can't see from here, but might have a couple more of the Emerald Soldiers than usual. But if we get past this fortification, we should reach the intended cliff, or the intended surface of the cliff I mean to pass.
Do the soldiers usually come out this far?
Occasionally. I believe ever since the war, they've been patrolling most of these areas for the past 2 or 3 decades. But the numbers have dwindled since most of the forces have gone north in the front line. He takes another bite, munching. We might have to convince these upcoming soldiers. We might just be passerbyers. We don't want to have any suspicion that we are trying to scale the cliff itself.
I look at my kind of my climber's pack, and having it on our purses, is it kind of very obvious, or can we?
Not necessarily. Most travelers would have certain equipment that will forgo assist them to climbing, not just a surface, but other treacherous parts of the land. So, but for the most part, everything in your pack itself would hide all the contents of said climbing gear or not.
Okay.
It's not outright visible, basically.
Okay. Cool.
Is there any way else to go around them?
Aye. The only place to go around them is if we go east, back into Haverlock itself. But that is much more of a task than we can ask for. We have to pass through the canyon. It's the only way if we want to make it there within the day or so. Any other way would probably add 3 to 5 more days.
Well, we should have a story to say. if we get confronted. At least we all say the same thing.
Perhaps. I don't fancy myself such a good liar, so perhaps I'll leave the talking to one of you guys.
I look at Meliodas.
Who, me? This guy? Oh.
Maybe you can do the talking.
I can give it a shot. Right now?
Well, let's just see, pass through it, what happened.
Alright, I'll get it done, boss. And then
We'll follow your lead.
he moves to the other side of the group, away from the tower.
I think
We're still about like a mile away from the tower. We just pretty much at this point we're just stopped and we're just looking down the path. We could see a little bit of movement. We can't really tell at this point how many soldiers, if there were a pack of them. We couldn't tell how many at this point from this distance. Thumeric just looks over to you, Meliodas. You could always tell them we're on our way to Emerton. It's up north from here. Kind of
Emerton.
assist with our story, I guess.
Emerton. He keeps repeating that. Emerton.
And
you can do this. Meliodas.
Guys, I'm not that kind of... I'm not that kind of whatever you think I am.
Thumeric at this point starts gathering his stuff again. Takes a swig from his water skin, which you can clearly tell that it's probably some sort of wine or some sort of mead, as you can see parts of it just kind of wash over his beard. Oh, Misty's back! Woo! She fixed it.
Yeah.
Hey!
And takes his swig and puts his water skin back attached to his bag and starts heading forward north on the path.
Alright, Emerton. Say we're from Emerton. I got this.
It took about a good 25, 30 minutes of just kind of a decent pace walking up north as you start approaching this tower. You can tell it's made out of different parts of lumber, but they cut and formed this tower, this rough-looking tower. On the top you see 2 sentries. One of them looks like he's manning this giant crossbow, or ballista, I should say. It's more of like an attached crossbow that acts kind of like a ballista. It's like a larger crossbow than normal. And then the other one's just kind of looking about with a spyglass. You can tell that this one's more like the spotter than the other one is kind of like the one that trained eye to use with the ballista or range personnel. At the bottom you see 3 guards in their emerald garbs to signify the colors of the kingdom. You see 2 of them kind of at first playing around swords. They're actually like almost combating each other as maybe within the next 200 feet or so they kind of stop as their composure kind of go towards you as they begin to notice you approaching.
As we're approaching, can I take Am I able to see like their uniform and stuff? Like how we saw the other guys masquerading as soldiers? I kind of want to check to see if it's the same deal.
Sure. Go ahead and roll. Do you want to know if they're wearing the same type of stuff, or do you think you want to like get their body language? Like what is it you trying to do?
Well, like
exactly?
when I went to look at the other guys, their uniforms looked very tattered and everything.
Okay.
So I'm assuming
Perception.
that if they're actually Emerald Guards, that they'd be more well kept.
Right. Okay. So go ahead and roll a perception check as you approaching. You're about. I'd say the group at this point is probably like a good 30 feet or so, as they're just stationed there waiting for you to approach.
16.
16. As you close the gap, you can tell it's a little more well kept. You see it's worn, as maybe perhaps they've just been at this outpost for longer than usual. And they're probably just waiting for like their next shift or next set of legs to come in and fill their spot. As with that 16 though, you also noticed far off behind the foliage where the tower's pretty much in front of, you noticed a couple of set tents, perhaps 2 or 3 within perspective view. They're pretty much not hidden, but just behind certain branches of foliage trees and stuff.
Of the guys that I do see with that perception, are any of them of the guy that we let go?
They are wearing helmets that almost cover their faces. They have these chains, these like mail chains that kind of curtains over their almost over their eyes. So it's kind of hard to see like the resemblance or the features, if that I should say, the features of these particular soldiers. But besides that, you also see that each one's carrying a longsword, and each one of them is carrying a horn on his person, on his belt. You see the one carrying the horn actually also has a different breastplate. You can see that the breastplate has a particular design to the other ones, basically.
I just whisper to the group, I'm like, you see the one there with the armor kind of different? Just be careful, Meliodas. He has a horn. I'm assuming that's the call for backup.
So steal the horn.
On it.
Wait. That's not what I meant.
Actually, I'm gonna bring Jillian with me.
Okay.
I got a plan. Which is gonna fail.
Are you going to tell me this plan, or?
I'm just gonna grab your hand and just start walking towards.
Nice.
Okay.
This is how every good plan starts.
It's getting worried.
As you approach, you see the particular soldier with the horn, with a different design breastplate. Where are you heading? I might ask. You know this particular area can be pretty vicious, so.
Yeah, we just came from Emerton back there. Me and my daughter are kind of lost. It's fair
sorry.
around here.
You said you just came from Emerton.
Yeah.
He looks at you. You know Emerton is north from here, and you're heading from the south.
That's why we're lost. She ran off looking for a fair, right? Said you were looking for a fair around here.
Yeah, fair.
You see one of the soldiers kind of smirk like and snicker, and he starts shaking his head. What is your business going north?
Trade.
Trade? And he kind of looks behind you. Do you have anything to trade? Make a deception check.
Cart's just down the road because you look like bandits. Can't be too careful now, can we?
Can I assist him on that
What'd you
deception?
roll?
I rolled a 9.
All right. Oh, I'm sorry, Jillian. What was that?
Can I assist him on that deception?
How would you assist him on this deception?
Do the yeah.
Yeah.
I won't allow this assist. Unless you have a good reason to assist
lie
him.
about?
What was that?
He's trying to lie about there were bandits or something?
No, he lied that that they were traitors.
We're trades.
Yeah. He kind of looks at you at this point. You see
Mechanicus?
both of the guards
Silly, Daddy.
put hands
We're
on
not there
their
to trade.
on the hilts of their swords behind, and they kind of just spread from the lead man at this point. Traders.
All right, let's start over.
So you're going north to trade without anything in hand.
He's confused. We're going north for my musical audition, and I pull out my hurdy-gurdy, and
That's
I start
right.
like playing a tune.
I've been drinking, you know. Totally forgot about your music addiction. I'm so sorry.
Go ahead and roll another deception check. I'd say with advantage, just because of the hurdy-gurdy.
19.
A 19. He looks at you. Okay. There's one thing I do have to ask. He is your father. You and him related.
She takes after her mother, the red hair and all.
Yes. Stepfather?
I guess the genes roll strong on the mother's side then, yeah? How about these, how about the lot behind you? Thumric at this point, he's just kind of just, like, still kind of looking to the side and looking about. He's
Theo steps up.
Oh, them? I don't know.
Yes. I am one
Follow
of
me.
the main performers of her hurdy-gurdy. I do special dances for her. And
special
I kinda
dances.
start-
You should say.
yes, I start doing like my Sune kind of
If you
fetching
roll,
and morning.
if you roll an awesome performance check, I'm gonna allow that
But
deception.
what I want to do is actually do a very complex kind of it's gonna look like a breakdance move.
All right. Go ahead and roll. Go ahead and roll a performance check and see how well you perform this breakdancing move.
Are you doing the robot as you walk?
So I
So you afterwards, when you tell him that you're a performer and you start performing, you look like the stiffest white person trying to dance to like hip hop, where he's like off tune for the most part. And the guard at this point just Okay. Right. These guys with you. He's looking at Jillian and Meliodas. They're not with you.
Let me explain. I didn't have any music. I need the hurdy-gurdy to be played in order to...
Careful, honey, don't talk to strangers.
He's looking at Hellscream at this point.
I'm so confused. Should I stay there with me or not?
And then he looks at Mechanicus. It's a strange lot you got here. You got a couple of foreigners and a couple of countrymen. Hang on one second. He goes over to one of his men and he starts whispering something with his hand over, and you see the soldier he whispers to. He kind of just goes back to towards the tower, behind the tower, and over to where the encampment you had noticed, May. So, Emerton, right? That's where you heading?
Yeah, that's where we're headed.
So, you been to Emerton before?
Yes, that's where we're from.
Have I been to Emerton before?
No, it's further. It's further up north. It's outside of the district of the guild. So you pretty much stayed with the guild footprint, basically.
Would it be of interest to the guild?
You could say there might be certain nobility up there, if that you would be as posted as a learner, if anything.
So, Mechanicus is gonna walk up to this guard, and he's just kind of looking at everybody like, excuse me, but, and he's gonna pull out his seal. I'm with the Guild of Letters, and I am trying to get there because, well, to be quite honest, it's hard making it these days as a seeker, and I have been employed as a learner. And they're escorting me. I'm not sure the charade they're trying to put on now, but really it is not needed. They're just escorting me.
Go ahead and roll a deception with advantage, since you showed him the the chain.
18?
18. Guild of Letters, you say? He kind of
Yes, you can see right here.
He kind of goes up to it real quick. All right. In the future, why don't you just get to the point and tell me what's going on?
I do not know why they did such a thing. It's quite a strange lot. But it's all I can afford on such a small, paltry sum of money that I've been making lately.
All right. I do want to warn you. If you're heading on the way down south again, there's going to be strenuous, I should say, searches. Being that we are in the war and all, we want to make sure we don't get any particular spies or factions that are with the Gregarian, so just mind your business. If you come back down without any sort of contraband, you'll be alright. But just stay out of trouble, yeah? And the other guy comes back, and he just kind of shakes his head as he's looking at the what you could assume is like their captain or whatnot. At this point, you just see them kind of push back and clear the path for your for your group to pass.
We thank you for your time, and you're doing quite a good job at defending this road.
Hey, you see that? That's what we need. He's looking at one of his other men. Say, thank you, kind sir. We appreciate the supporters. Keep this realm, keep the Rendamus area safe. Good journey.
So this entire
Johnny
time, Jillian had been playing the hurdy-gurdy like
Just
nonstop.
in the background. Just ding,
Yeah.
ding, ding.
Awesome. And then Theo's like, "There's no charade. Look!" And he starts clapping in rhythmic, and then he does like a cartwheel into like a
Performance check.
backflip. But I'm doing a cartwheel.
Performance check.
Oh my god.
So, whenever he bombs his cartwheel, Mechanicus just looks over at the guard with this defeated look. I really need a raise so that I can afford a better whatever you call this. And he starts making his way past the guards.
You see his men and himself go from as with that crit fail, Theo does a cartwheel that pretty much lands on his face as he just kind of just fails to attempt to land on his feet. But they're just amused at this point as you guys start to carry on north.
I'll go help him up. And
So my
dust him
face
off.
is like the dirt.
Yeah.
Remember
totally
last time you tried to
humiliated.
do a cartwheel? That didn't go so well.
It's not as young as I used to be.
Amen, my friend. Death to the Gregarians as he passed by.
you see one of the tower go, yeah, and he's just like looking back at his men. It's like, help me out, guys. So as you trek off, and now the tower at your back, you continue to push forward. This time you see parts of the forest canopy start to change. You can see some pine trees scattered here and there, with your typical large towering trees that you've noticed on Haverlock itself. You begin to near perhaps another hour, an hour and a half, as you keep trekking forward. And at this point, Thulmeric stops. I think it's time to have a breather, yeah. As he, you guys are near the river, and you see him kind of pull down his trousers and starts urinating into it, doing his own thing at this point.
Not go in there.
It's a strong stream river. So
Wait a moment.
he's like, no hands and shit.
Mechanicus is like standing right next to him. I did not realize that the dwarf was so hairy.
And I like step up right next to him too.
He's just he's still looking at you guys with his hand, both his hand over his head.
No hands, huh? Talented.
Mind your
So-
personal stuff.
Mechanicus like whips his out, and anybody standing behind you, you see his balls slowly like droop down to the ground.
Are they like? Do you? Never mind.
They look like they've got baby
God.
powder on them.
Bacon powder. Nice.
Yeah.
Thulmeric just kind of
As
rushes, puts his trousers back
like,
on.
gets ready to piss. You hear his dick go.
Thulmeric kind of goes upstream more at this point as he goes into the river, and he starts pulling out what looks like other from his pack. It looks like other worn tunics and trousers, and he's kind of like trying to rub out like what looks like dirt from it, as he's kind of just basking into like this water right now. The rest of you at this point notice that he commenced and taken at least a short break before venturing forward.
I'm gonna walk up to the stream. Do I by chance see fish in it?
Perception check, please.
Oh, she's doing that. I'm stripping down to take a nice cold bath.
21.
21. Yeah, so there's parts of the river that are very shallow. You could see the reflection of light just hitting the back of these large-looking fish under the water. You can't really tell because of just the caustic nature of how the water ripples and distorts the way they look, but you can tell there's a good-sized portion of fish to begin with, just swimming about.
And how strong is the current? Like, if I step in it, do I think I'm gonna like get swept away?
In the shallow area, basically like around where Thumric is located, the shallow end is not a strong current. But if you were to go definitely towards the middle or try to cross it, you can tell there's a pretty decent current. Not particularly like rapids speed of currents, but you can tell there's a constant current going through.
I'm gonna set my pack down and I'm gonna step into the water and I'm gonna see if I can try catching a fish.
All right, awesome. So you lay your pack down, and you start kind of going a little bit into the shallow end. It's about 5 feet. You can see one of the fish kind of just scuttling about, kind of just scanning, and you can see it like moving around, just looking around. Go ahead and roll a, let's say, it's a straight dex check if you're going to just dive in and try to grab it. So, with that critical fail,
Here it goes, guys.
you jump into water, you dive in, and you're so anticipated, excited to try to grab this fish. You forget to close your eyes and cover your mouth as you just jump in, fully getting the current of water splashing in your throat and eyes getting all blasted as you come up coughing with this pain in your eyes. Catching no fish as a result as well.
Mechanicus is going to gather up his testicles, put them back in his pants, and then you just sit down and watch May. Perhaps if you would practice catching crickets, you would be a little bit better at that.
Can I try the same,
You
but
see-
like go
You
in
see the
water?
fish taunt you, like it's just kind of just like looking at you, and it goes towards you real quick and then just kind of goes away.
I look to my Mechanicus. I'm like, well, why don't you show me, old man? And I'm gonna stand back up and I'm going to try again.
All right, you're soaked at this point, and you're just looking around. You spot the fish again. Meliodas, you saying what?
Oh, sorry, you cut out. What was
Sorry.
that?
I was saying you mentioned something. I didn't get the full comment on that.
Oh, so he's gonna try to fish too, but like wade into the water till it's like up here, and just
Okay.
wait.
So you're gonna go into the water. At this point, when you notice the waters, you start passing the shallow end. As it passes your waist, you can tell the current is slightly stronger. Where as soon as you dip in and like you feel your torso filled to the top where the water is, you start moving towards the current for a quick second.
Can I stop there?
Yeah, so yeah,
I
you can
feel
just
that.
as soon as you feel that, you just kind of get out. It's like, oh, okay, I'm not gonna go deeper in it, but you're about like just belly button as far as like deep as when you went into the water. But beyond that, you feel like the current probably will be way too strong for you to actually try to trek through. But as you do so, and you're moved at this point you find it hard to see fish. Go ahead and roll a perception check though, just to see.
Oh crap. 18.
18. So when you're in there, you spotted one maybe about 15 feet away from you. Some at the deeper end of the current, as you were kind of pushed down river about a good 25 feet or so. May, you say you're going to try to attempt again?
Yeah, I'm not diving into the water, but I'm gonna be like finding wade in there, find a spot where I see a lot of fish, and kind of like hope, like bend over and just wait for the right opportunity to pick one. But yeah.
Okay.
I'm doing this again.
So you're doing more like the waiting game, like to try to catch one as they get close, kind of.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Roll. You know what? At this point, roll a survival check because now you're kind of just using more of a tactic to try to capture it instead of just using your sheer.
13.
13. As you get near, as you're there and you're waiting to catch this fish, and you see this fish kind of just towards you a little bit, and as soon as it's in reach, you reach out, and out of nowhere it just swims off. As you see the tail end as it kind of goes deep into the water. Mechanicus, you were saying you were going to try to do something, or was it something
Mechanicus is sitting on the side of the shore watching May try to fish.
Okay.
And he starts muttering to himself and like just drawing in the dirt with his staff.
All right.
And every so often, if anybody's near, you can hear Rupert. Rupert.
All right.
Cast an unseen servant as a ritual.
All right. So for the next 10 minutes, you're in a ritualistic manner of casting your friendly ghost, if you want to go that direction. He's like a ghost. Hellscream and Jillian. During this time, what would the two of you be doing?
So I have these set of fine clothes. I'm going to ruin them by trying to make a net out of, a branch nearby.
Okay.
Since they suck at catching fish with their hands.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a survival check just to see if you can find like the proper parts you need for foraging.
Oh, I cannot. That's a 3.
All right, a 3. As you're looking about, you see just this really weak piece of twig branch thing that fell from one of the branches of the tree, and you're looking at it. It's like I'm not sure. Maybe this can catch a fish. It's like pretty much like a small weak twig with like 2 strands coming out of it. It works more for like a wand if anything else. But you keep looking around and just having trouble trying to find the proper things of use. Hellscream.
So after seeing May fail epically, I kind of like strut, almost like with that manly attitude, like I'm gonna show you how to get it done. So I want to stand like at the bank of the stream and kind of like use my halberd.
All right.
Like get there ready to like kind of like poke at it.
Okay, so you want to use a halberd like a spear in a spear-like manner instead?
Yes.
All right, awesome. So at this point, there's one particular fish that you see that's kind of taunting May as you walk near her. You see kind of like you just see it as you're looking at it. It's easy to see at this point because it's just literally taunting her as it kind of swims forward towards her and swims away. From what you can tell, it's probably like a good foot, over a foot long, close to 2 feet long fish. And you raise up your halberd in a spear-like manner. Go ahead and roll an attack with that, a range attack.
I want to stab, I don't want to throw.
Okay, it's about 10 feet from you, so you could probably stab at it instead of throwing it.
Right.
roll at a disadvantage because of just the way it's kind of underneath the water. It's hard to tell exactly how it's being distorted, basically, from the water caustic effects.
So as a regular attack.
Yes.
Perception.
It's true. It bends. It's freaking hard.
9?
22. Oh.
A 9. As you go towards it, and you see this halberd just make a giant splash, and you pull back. There's nothing there, but you see the fish where it was. You see blood start pulling, and it just starts going, and then it starts going down the stream as you see the fish at this point just being pulled down this current.
I kind of yell at May at the same time, like, go get the fish!
Can I grab the fish?
Just go ahead and roll athletics check as you're just trying to fight to try to get near it.
She swan dives.
Oh,
yes! There we go.
So
Teamwork.
you pretty much go into like a full dive and just start swimming with the current. At this point, everyone sees
She
May.
goes underneath the water and comes up with.
Yeah, in her mouth, like a dolphin. Everyone see May just literally just going down the stream, like bat out of hell, as you could see her just going down faster than she probably would run sometimes. But May, with that 24, you just catch yourself as you start swimming back towards the shallow end, and you're victorious with this one fish that has been taunting you for like the last 10 minutes or so.
It's not my victory, though. So I just shove it in front of Hellscream, like, here.
As you hold
Kinda
on
like-
to the fish, you can see the fish. It's like this silver carp. About as you hold it, you guesstimate maybe a good 5-6 pounds.
Ooh, dinner's on me, guys. Dinner's on me.
But Theo, with his face like full of dirt, is clapping like.
Mechanicus.
Remember that.
Mechanicus, at this point, as you near the end of your ritual, as you go towards the end and finish the last incantations of it, and this aura and splattering of arcanic energy starts to form around the sigil of the writing that you put down, and you see spinning, swirling figure, as you can see Rupert come back as he's in his normal slumped nature, as he's kind of just dull eyes looking towards you.
Ah, welcome back, my friend. Now, I do not suppose you know anything about fishing.
You see him just turn around, and he starts going in the water, unfazed by the current. As he goes in, everyone kind of just looking at May being victorious. Behind her, there was a splash of water, and this fish looks like it's hanging out of thin air, about the same size that she's carrying, and it starts floating towards the surface where Mechanicus is sitting.
I was not aware that there were flying fish in this stream.
As Mechanicus, you see Rupert holding the fish from the tail, like real just lazy-daisical.
Can I grab a pebble and throw it at Mechanicus?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm not gonna stop
I
you.
throw a pebble towards him, and I'm like, that is cheating!
I dodged that shit.
Go ahead and roll a range attack.
A 7.
Yeah, you throw it and it hits the fish.
What
That's
did
floating.
that poor fish do to you?
You see the fish
Fish are
wiggling.
very delicate meat. You're going to cause it to bruise and jeopardize the taste.
May is mad, shoves the fish towards Hellscream, and just stomps her way back to her pack. And she just kind of goes away from the shoreline. And she's going to take off her wet clothes and put on her other clothes.
All right. At this point, you see Thumric setting up a small campfire as he's laying over parts of his clothes to dry up. As he's kind of just like fanning it with these wet, damp clothes. But you notice there's a fire stoked and perhaps ready for a quick meal if anybody prepared to do so.
So once Rupert comes back with the fish, my Canicus tells him, Rupert, go out and catch enough fish so that everyone might have one.
He just does one of these again, like, and he just kind of just turns around that way, and he just starts slowly going towards the river.
And my Canicus is going to pick up the fish and bring it to May. Since you had to bruise this one, this is the one that you will be eating.
The fish, mind you, about 5 pounds. Each one can feed 3 people at the very least for one serving.
You've never been to a fish fry with my family.
We're talking about, like serving size, not serving wishing size,
Capability.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I can eat a whole fish if I wanted to, but should I? Probably.
Yeah.
Just one fish?
But this is it depends on the size of the fish. But at this point, you guys are taking a quick rest, which lasts about an hour.
Do I get any slots back on a quick rest?
I think was the short
Yes,
rest.
actually, no, it's not a short rest.
Yeah, it's on the short rest.
Yeah, okay.
Quick rest. Before the official quick rest, I go to the edge of the stream and I just kind of wash my face,
Okay.
kind of freshen up, and with my pride really hurt, I will sit down on a rock and sit down and start doing with my quick rest. Could I use my quick rest to do that cartography with advantage, since I have a good to kind of map that out.
You need a short rest to do that. A quick rest will be too not enough time for you to set up all your tools and all your tools that you need to require for you to actually create to actually methodically draw out your parts of the map. You just won't have enough time for a quick rest.
Gotcha. All right.
If for this quick rest though, if anyone has any slots that they need to return to them, this is where they also may do so for a successful meal.
He gives the fish to May to cook.
May just looks at him like, I don't want it. You cook it. And she's going to go back to changing her clothes.
All right.
Are you serious? You're acting like a juvenile.
Go cook it. Don't waste it.
I'm not hungry. I caught it for you.
You
But if
didn't
your
catch
pride
nothing.
is so injured that you will not eat a fish, then fine then, you can starve. And then he just takes the fish and then just throws it on the fire.
Whoa.
I saw you cook it.
May's going to pull out the 2 pieces of stag meat
All right.
and eat that.
Okay. Yeah, your jerky
Yes.
meat that was prepared in the Lucky Stump.
Yes, I'm eating both pieces of that.
Both pieces. Holy smokes! All right. That was prepared, I believe, successfully. So if you have any lost slots, hit dies. I'm sorry, you can return those.
If I eat both of them, do I get both of my hit die back, or
No,
just one?
you per rest you get one.
Okay, I'm only eating one then.
Okay, yeah, you only get one per rest. You can't exceed, except obviously a long rest where you can just recoup. Was it half? I don't remember. I'll look it up again. But at this point, I don't know if anybody else want to partake in doing a quick rest and trying to get their hit die back.
I'm good. I'm
Alright.
full.
All right.
Mechanicus just goes back, sits by the river, has Rupert sit by him, and then he bitches about young people.
Goddamn millennials.
Do we have to have like a some kind of proficiency in a tool to preserve the fish, like salted or something?
I'd say just a survival check for that.
Ah, crap.
Uh,
You guys want to do that?
I can do it.
You know what? I'd say with advantage because it's not even difficult just to throw some salt on your piece of meat.
Do you have salt?
I'm really bad at survival.
Yeah. Do you even have salt? That's a good question. I think the only
No.
ones that would
I don't
probably
even have
salt.
salt, I think.
Isn't that in your mess kit?
Not necessarily. Doesn't really. You know what? I'll allow maybe a pinch of salt, but that I don't know if that's gonna be enough to.
Yeah.
There's salt in
Like
an
a salt
herbalist
packet,
kit.
like you get from like McDonald's, like.
Yeah, exactly. I'd say an herbalist kit might, yeah, because you would definitely need certain things to.
Only
to create
one
it.
of you would have had the foresight to bring salt, and then Mechanicus is going to raise up a pouch full of salt that, if you remember, he gathered from the tables in the inn.
Yes, he did.
Oh yeah. There you go. Well, you just
I
gotta-
will allow you to use this. Or if none of you want it, I'll put it away. And he puts it back on us. Or he hands it over.
Oh, no. Here we go. Don't waste it. I'll do it. I'll do this to me special.
Hellscream. What is your
Okay.
Yeah.
goddamn? Yeah, you're good with that. Was a natural that natty. Yeah. So you preserved it very well. It's a nicely preserved
It's a
piece
delicacy.
of fish. Yeah. Hellscream. Go ahead and roll a perception check.
At 16.
16. For a split second, across the river, on the other side of the foliage, you could have sworn you saw someone, some movement. What really caught your eye is that the movement appeared to brandish a hat similar to yours.
That was a mean perception check.
The river's not crazy far, like from one end to the other, I should say. It's probably a good 50, 55 feet across. But the hat was something you kind of peeked for a quick second, as that was the thing you noticed the most. But then that hat disappeared into the foliage.
All right. Is there like a safe way like to cross the river? Like looking up and down. Like is it a bridge? Maybe some rocks I could jump on, or do I just gotta walk across?
As you're just kind of looking naturally, you don't see anything that would allow you to cross the river safely unless you try to go in it and probably ride the current.
I will do so.
Really? You're gonna ride the current?
You said it's not that strong. The hell?
All right.
Like,
I mean, it's
character
not
should be what? How many
it's not
parts of my
rapid.
character?
It's not a rapid river. That's what I was saying. Okay. Go ahead, and so you would just dive in and swim across, basically, right?
Let me think this through.
As he's walking past Mechanicus to get in the river, Mechanicus kind of closes his eyes, shakes his head a lot, like he's looking in the future, and then just kind of face palms and just assumes.
How far across is it? You said 50 feet?
It's 50, 55 from what you can tell as you're looking at the river. This is considered rough terrain when you go in, so you'll go at half your speed. And moving sideways because of the current.
I've actually walked against current, man. It's not that hard. But then again, it's just D&D. Anything can happen.
What are you doing?
Damn it, how the hell do we get across safe?
Can't you just get a piggyback ride from Rupert?
This is away from the cliff, by the way. So it's not like you're going towards the red cliff. You're actually heading away from the red cliff.
Okay.
Just want to give you a perspective. It's like
So this guy is technically behind us.
You see where this is basically. It's like on the other side, like on over here on this side of the river. I don't know if you.
So
guys
he's
can see
behind
it.
us, not really in front of us.
Yeah, it's more on this side of the river, where you guys are basically where that icon is, right next to the cliff.
So do I get the sense that he's just following us, or do I get the sense of he's just within the vicinity?
You don't know if it's a he or she, and you don't know if this person is following. You don't know anything besides just what you saw.
Just saw a hat, right?
Just yeah.
Do I get the vibes that I'm being watched?
Yes. No. It's hard to tell.
Asshole. Alright. So I want to pretend like I didn't actually see anything.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna like walk closer to Theo. And I'm gonna give him the impression like I feel like we're being followed. That I saw somebody behind us.
Very interesting. What did you notice?
All I could see was a hat.
Any colors?
It looked like mine.
Where are the hats you have?
What was that?
How rare are the hats that you have?
That's actually a pretty good question. Are they rare, or is it like
It's very unique to your clansmen.
to my clan? All right, I figured as much. All right. So knowing that, I told them it's usually only found in my homeland.
Mind you, there's multiple clans of the region, but you know clans wear these particular hats. You know this. You know it's a hat made for clansmen, basically.
Well, stay sharp. Keep your eyes open.
Should we set watches?
Oh, what? You were part of this conversation? What? Huh?
Oh snap!
Always is.
I think he just broke his heart.
I think we should just keep a careful eye. Maybe one of us should stay within the back of the group.
All right. I think break is over.
Here comes the fucking dwarf.
He's there trying to get his stuff together. I'd say it'll take us perhaps half an hour till we get to the cliff. Ready up. He's gathering his things. He's looking about. And at this point, he is looking eastward into the forest. The canopies forest that's right underneath a sheer wall, as you can still see towering as you look up. For visualization, I can just give you this for matter.
Whoa. We got this.
That doesn't look big at all whatsoever.
As you see,
Looks flammable.
as you see the mist just rolling from the top. At this point, you guys are very close to the cliff. Like he said, it's going to be about half an hour to actually get to the foot of it. But as you look up, you start to wonder if 300 feet is the true fact on the size of this cliff. Mind you only saw the cliff from a distance coming from Vanir. This is a different part of the cliff.
So, Mark, did you say you actually climbed this cliff before? This looks a lot taller than 300 feet.
Oh no, I never climbed this one. I climbed the one in front of Vanir.
This looks like death.
It's
And
okay.
You're sure we're going to be able to climb this with people that more likely have no experience with climbing?
As soon as she says that, I kind of look up at the cliff and then look at the old man, then look at the cliff, and then look back at the old man.
We're dead.
I've taken certain precautions that we can perhaps scale it. Oh, with a little technique and perseverance, I say why not?
Okay. As we're walking, I'm just like, tell me your technique, and then I'll just tell him like what I've done over at the mountains that I've climbed.
Okay, and at this point, we start trekking towards the forest. At this point, there's no path. You're basically walking into just a dense forest, as you can see foliage and trees just spreading out from different directions. There's no particular path that we're heading. And as we do so, heading east towards the cliff itself, the foot of the cliff, he starts explaining about scaling the mountain and how previous climbers have gone through this site, where he's familiar with the area. That he knows that this area, those who've come across and tried to venture to the top had this one particular path that they usually tend to, instead of the one that's in the southern face of the Red Cliff itself. And he talks about the technique of the pittance left behind and new pittance put in front of those that if needed new ones, basically, and how everyone is going to be hooked up to certain points as they keep going up.
Okay. So, Mark, have you thought about in what order we're going into? Are you going to be leading this, and are you going to be carrying my Canicus?
Oh, no, not I. Perhaps the big one should probably take the lead. It's perhaps the best to have the strongest in the front, and perhaps the not so strongest in the middle, and maybe the secondary strongest at the very end. But as we scale, it's probably best to have everybody tethered, so to speak. If one fails, the other ones might carry. Would thus avoid fatalities.
I agree. We've used the same kind of technique where I'm from. I'm just a little nervous about one not being able to climb. And the big guy only got climbing boots. Is that going to be enough? He didn't get a pack with everything in it.
But the most important thing besides the boots, it would definitely be the rope. Just to make sure everyone is tethered together. I think that is the most important thing that we shall prepare before we scale.
All right.
At this point, you guys trek for the next half an hour or so as you approach. You begin to approach the foot of the cliff, as you see this sheer wall, and as you look up, you can see parts of it just being obscured from the mist, as you can see the mist rolling over it, coming kind of towards you as it kind of dissipates far into the plateau above. All right, give me 1 second. As you see him at this point, just looking all over at the walls, look as though he's looking for something in particular. Now, there should be plenty of passes that those before had come here had laid and leave their pitons behind. There. As he points over, you can see there's already certain points on the wall itself where you can see part of it, ropes dangling, torn ropes dangling from certain pitons. Some of them are marked, as you can see. Some of them have a red or a blue color, kind of a strip of cloth or linen, just kind of hanging off it to make it a little easier to kind of visibly check for them and look for them. All right, everybody, make sure you take your gears out, and we might have to create a long tether. You, big guy. I'm assuming your sheer size and strength, you have no issues climbing a wall?
I just grunt.
Good. And you take the lead.
Well, I thought you said the strongest should go first. Because that's totally me.
You know, I've grown to be accustomed to your jokes. It's gonna be sad when we depart to not have those hilarious stories of yours. It's just like the ones you talk about sharing and stealing from folks. I don't think I haven't keep an eye on you, lass. As he's kind of just like taps on his side, and you can see you can hear like a little bit of a rattle from coins.
She just winks at him.
At this point, he's tying up and helping everyone tie each other, like whatever harnesses, if they have any, putting them together.
2 harnesses. I'm giving the one that came in the pack, the brand new one, to my Canicus.
Okay.
And I'm using the kind of semi-used for myself.
All right.
Mechanicus takes the harness and puts it on upside down and backwards.
I'm going to help him put this on.
He looks at the group at this point, and he pulls out this small flask, very similar to the one that was purchased at the Redcliffe general store. As you see this amber-looking color with this with these little bubbles kind of floating to the top as he uncorks it, and he just starts chugging on it. Oh, bitter that is. And he just throws the vial and just breaks, and he just burps. Oh, that should help me climb. And he's just kind of just stretching. He's like doing like these funny like movements like old people would like before they like go for a walk.
My Mechanicus watches him and starts like mimicking, but like slower, trying to get ready. Might you have another one of those vials? He seemed he's getting ready.
I do, but that's for the... Depending if I might need it. It only lasts for so long.
Okay, well, I need it.
Didn't you just purchase something?
I did not buy a thing.
And he just kind of goes into his pack, and he just hands you this vial, same look. Furious. He just as he hands it over to you.
Does Mechanicus even know what this potion does?
No. I mean, you can test it.
I'm gonna test it.
You can put your finger in it.
Dip the pinky.
Yeah. And as soon as you put the this liquid at the tip of your tongue, you feel a little lighter, actually.
A little lighter?
Yeah, you feel
like
you don't feel yourself being so heavy, as if you lost weight almost.
Basically a fizzy lifting drink from Willy Wonka?
Almost. Except he's not floating.
So Mechanicus looks at it. Oh, what in the nine hells? And then he just drinks it.
Alright, so as soon as you drink it, you just feel just lift as if weight was off your shoulders. Wait, you had weight on your shoulders this whole time. Oh my god. You feel so light. You feel that you have the strength to pull yourself because of how light you are.
Mechanicus, being completely overconfident, just like hobbles up to the wall and starts climbing.
You're at this point.
You coming?
You're like in the middle. You're like in the middle of the group because you're like tethered between everybody. So you're like pulling. You're pulling May and I don't know whoever wants to make the order actually. So if that's the case, who's going to be the order?
Well, Mechanicus is the strongest, so he's gonna be in the front.
Well, this is
I'll be the
before.
last.
This is before you drank the fizzy.
Billions the strongest.
Okay, so what's the order right now? Mechanicus, everybody already got tied up at this point. That's what I was saying.
I assume it's Hellscream first.
Okay.
Hellscream is first. I'm gonna put May second. Then Meliodas. Then myself. Then Mechanicus, and then Jillian.
Mechanicus puts his hand on Leo's shoulder. That is a good decision. That way I can catch anyone if they fall.
Jillian is at the end?
Yes.
At the end of Jillian, Thunruk is ties up. Oh, Miguel got home.
I forgot to call him back. He called me about something.
Don't worry. He just went back to his house. Okay, so at the end, Jillian, you see Thumric taking the end as everybody at this point have their places As you see Mechanicus right now at this point pulling on Theo and you, Jillian, as he's trying to climb up before everybody at this point. The rope is about 20 feet. I'm sorry, 15 feet between each person, by the way. So Theo and Jillian, you see Mechanicus at this point, he's tugging you as you see him kind of start scaling certain parts of the wall.
Tugging him back.
He's about a good 10 feet up, looking down. He's like, I could do this.
Left foot, right hand, left hand.
All right.
Jump!
So at this point, everyone's going to start scaling the wall. As
Oh God.
I will need everyone
No.
to roll.
Before you start, I put on my mountain climbing boots.
Yeah. Everybody at this point have their proper equipment ready. I will need everybody to roll an athletics check. Mechanicus, you will do it at advantage.
Since I'm human variant mountain, does that mean anything?
Is that on the?
Oh God.
Wow. All right, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Oh my God, where is it? Okay,
Good
here.
thing we're all tethered.
Yeah, good thing.
And then I'm also a tiny person.
Shit.
Oh God. There's like 2 crits.
It's not good.
Holy smoke! All right, give me 1 second, guys.
Well, good thing we just started climbing.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Mountain. Climbing costs you no extra
think you-
movement.
Right.
You gain
You could
advantage.
go unlimited.
You gain advantage on saves against environmental effects involving altitude, low pressure, decreased oxygen, altitude sickness. You also gain proficiency with athletics and survival checks, and that's it. So
Okay.
you just have no your movement speed doesn't affect your.
I can
movement speed.
re-roll mine.
You can. Why can you?
'Cause
Oh yeah, that is true.
lucky person.
Yes. You are correct. Go ahead and re-roll that.
17.
When you roll, how many times can you do that? You can just do that forever, right? As a-
Forever.
yeah, it's fucking insane. Okay, 17. So 17 on Jillian. Hellscream with a 12. May with an 18. Theo with a 3, which is a crit fail. And Mel with a critical success.
That balances it out.
And Thumric at the end. He has advantage as well. With a 17. As you as all of you at this point start climbing.
Two crit
Oh, and
fails.
Mechanicus with a 4 on his advantage. Mechanicus, when you just started and everybody else pretty much caught up to you, you were at one point you were just kind of like a scared cat in a tree where you just didn't move for a quick second as everybody kind of started passing you for a quick second, and you notice everybody else and you try to, all right, next leg, and you just foot kind of just rips through one of the loose rocks, as you can see only 10 feet or so. You're not even far up, but you can see parts of the quartz kind of just fall off it. Theo, is everybody's pretty much approaching the 20-foot mark. You lost your footing and completely fell off. At this point, where May and Mike, caught between you, felt the tug. Luckily, May, with her high roll, actually sustained and held on, which actually helped on Mike's Mechanicus end. This was just the first roll, guys, so I'm going to ask you to roll one more, and this is going to be the first section of the cliff itself.
18.
Here it comes. Oh
13,
God, I'm rolling good.
a 6,
A six.
20. So this is all. Oh my God.
Oh my god.
He has advantage, so that didn't count either. That's a 9.
Alright.
Okay, so we got everybody here, right? Oh wait, and also Thumric. So this is a group
Correct.
effort, guys. Thumric with a 20.
Going very well.
So, at this point, it took you about a good hour or so, as you feel like you're approaching the middle part. Actually, hold on a second. Feels like what seems to be like an hour as you continue to scale this red cliff. Your muscles begin to cramp up. They start to burn like a fire ignited within. At this point, you start feeling a cold sweat begin to cover you as the altitude at this point begins to bring the cooler air. May, this is starting to feel like home. And Mechanicus and Theo and May, from your rolls, I'm going to require you to also roll a constitution check.
You guys got this.
Check or
I'm sorry?
check or saving throw?
Did I say? I
the
meant
same?
save. I don't know if you guys. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
okay.
save.
It's the same.
Sorry, guys.
Saving throw.
Yeah.
Oh, mine's the same for save.
Okay. All right. At this point, May and Theo, Mechanicus, for some reason you just shrug it off. You feel cool, but you still feel like perhaps that potion it's gonna help in the long run. But it's starting to feel like it's wearing off as we're hitting that better hour mark. As you slowly feel your weight start to pull against your hands, and now your legs feel a little heavier as well.
Oh my!
Theo and May, you feel like at this point the climb is starting to feel taxing. As you begin to near exhaustion at this point. You feel that perhaps in one more bad slip up, it's going to affect your overall climb.
So, since I'm below them, can I tell that they're starting to get, like, exhausted?
Go ahead and roll a perception check while everyone's climbing at this point.
Was this con roll in regards to the environment?
No, it's the
18.
climb itself.
Okay.
Like you're exhausting of the physicality of actually like scaling the sheer cliff. That was an 18 from Jillian for perception. Yes, you do notice both your companions. You're right behind Mike. Yeah, right above Mike. You see Theo. May not so much, since he's a little further up. You're like towards the tail end, and right behind you, Thumric. You see Thumric, and he's just looking like he's done this before, as he's kind of looking around strategically. But you can see Theo at this point. He's just like, ugh, perhaps the cold air. He's not from he's from a tropical area, so.
I'm out of my element.
So I give him some inspiring words, and I'm like, "You can do it, Theo. Come on, you got this." And I give him bardic inspiration.
Nice. So you get a D6, if I'm not mistaken, on your next D20 roll.
Yes.
So whenever you want to use it for the next hour, if I'm not mistaken, no, or is it 10 minutes? I forget. I totally forgot. It's been a while since I've used a part.
10 minutes.
10 minutes. All right, for the next 10 minutes or so, I'll allow it for just the next roll, basically. As you continue on, and
So I got an extra D6 for my rolls now.
for your next
one
roll.
more roll.
Yeah, because if you're gonna use it after that, you'll be out of the use for it. You won't have enough time to use it.
Gotcha.
So at this point,
And do this. Yes.
at this point you start to look down as the height that you're in. You could see from a distance at this point, because you're probably about a good 200 feet up as you look down, and you see the canopy just far below. But from a distance, you can see perhaps hints of other neighboring towns, as you can see structures from a distance. You can see the sheer land, and you're basically getting a good oversight on the southern area, basically. Roll a perception check, Meliodas.
Perception?
Yes.
At advantage.
So you continue on this climb. You can see some of your companions starting to waver. You can see May in front of you as you're looking from underneath her. You can see kind of starting to she's starting to get a little bit on the sluggish side, but she looks like she still has her strength. You guys at this point start to hit various portions of this wall. Part of it still stone, part of it vines and leafy areas that you have some overgrowth of different greens, kind of just painted over, I should say, covering parts of the actual cliff itself. And you're climbing on this area, and you see the leafy vines, very rich and green, and out of nowhere, what you saw vines, as you grab onto it, it starts to rope around you. As you see this lively vine starts to pull on your arm.
Guys?
Go ahead and roll a athletics check, as this is contesting right now, pulling you. This weird leafy entity, this vine entity, starts to pull you towards what looks like an alcove within the actual rock surface.
Yeah!
Oh man.
Yeah, we're good.
As your arm kind of gets pulled in for a quick second, and you hear a small little screeching sound that perhaps this plant is actually making. As you feel the parts of the vines constrict on your arm, and you just pull. Parts of the vine just kind of rolls off, falls down. You can see pretty much going all the way down to the bottom, and this vine entity starts to retract into what looks like its alcove.
Who's closest to me, May?
May is above you. Theo is underneath you.
Theo, did you see that?
Can I see it?
Yeah, you could see he was struggling so you even heard him. He was just there.
Yeah. I would help you, boy, but I can't get my gun right now.
You're about 15 feet, like in a diagonal, like pretty much underneath him, basically.
Pass it down. I think these vines are alive or something.
Hey, old man, watch out for the viney stuff.
I'll look up. May!
Hey, are you okay?
You could hear. You heard him struggling for sure, even though he's underneath you.
I'm fine. I think the plants are alive, even though it sounds crazy, but I'm not crazy. Just making sure.
As he's saying that out loud, Hellscream. You see yourself. Hellscream. As you hear him say that, you instinctively look at the surface that you're on, and you could tell that already you have this whole area just covered in various portions of vines and different leafy parts all over.
And the worst part of it.
But as you look around, there's no other way to go. As you can see, as you look up at the cliff, you just see more parts, continuing parts that actually have areas covered in vines and different leafy leaves of species, basically. Muted.
Yeah. Is there like a difference between any of it? Like, is there probably like a different discoloration?
I don't know. Make a perception check.
Okay, there we go. 19.
Nice. As you're there and you're just holding on and you're wondering, oh right, this thing is about to reach out to me, and you look and you keep searching, your eyes keep trailing back and forth, and you see just above you there's the very similar pattern and entanglement of vines, but this one carries a different pattern of color, as you see more of these browns and these perhaps veiny features on this vine, where it's much different compared to the ones that you're currently scaling on.
Okay. How far away is that from me?
It's probably the next 10 feet going straight up.
Alright. So when we climb up, I want to bite into it.
All right.
And I mean like bite. Pure intention to like rip it off.
All right. So this is going by the climbing roll everyone pretty much hit on already for this session, this part of the climb. I mean, as you continue to go up, and you see you're getting nearer towards this viney looking creature, and you see there's no movement, but as soon as you get up to it, you just go ahead and chop it. Go ahead and roll an attack with advantage since it's not moving.
What?
Just roll your attack like you would with a weapon.
Oh, God.
It's a good thing it's advantage. It's a good thing it's advantage.
Okay, thank you.
So, and then roll a 1d4. So as soon as nice.
1 damage, because that's a +3 modifier on it.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So you go up and you see this brownish pattern on this vine, and you just chomp at it. And as you do so, you just see it kind of at the tip just start kind of trembling, and it starts to try to pull off of you. And as you do so, a part of it snaps off, like as you have a piece of this vine just like wiggling like out of your hand. I'm sorry, out of your mouth.
Awesome.
And you see the vine at this point start slowly. You just see it like slowly start to retract into this alcove, basically.
All right. So after seeing that, I yelled down, "Be careful! Be careful with the brown spotted leaves, the brown spotted vines." I mean,
So when it attacked me, was it all brown or was it like
It was like multicolored, like a little bit of
Multicolored.
brown, a little bit of green. And at this point, as you continue, everyone's gonna roll another athletics check.
this is my downfall right here? I can feel it.
20!
Yeah, there it is.
Oh, shit.
This is not good.
We
All right, and then Thumeric. At this point, he does not have advantage because potion. That's a 20. Okay.
Mechanicus, while they're climbing, screams out to May, "No, the rock on the left!" And he's gonna change her 5 to a 12.
Nice. Okay.
So it would put her at what, 16?
So for a quick second, you envisioned her grabbing onto this ledge, onto this part of the cliff face, and as she does so and pulls herself, you see the rock loosening up and just tumble out, causing a chain reaction where it goes down, landing on Mel, which then in fact Meliodas gets torn off the wall, and your vision just stops right there as you see both May and Meliodas kind of tearing off the wall, and you changed her fate as you mentioned this, as she was about to go and reach for that same exact rock.
Lifesaver.
And looking at you and believing in your foresight because you've seen it before, she immediately changed her direction as she climbs.
Oh, thank you.
Meliodas,
Okay.
go ahead and roll a con check. Save, I'm sorry. Con save.
This is where I die, guys.
Oh my god.
I knew my luck would run out.
Hold on.
Mechanicus reaches up and pokes him in the ass with his stick. I'm gonna make that a 16.
I will look at you naked anytime you want. Thank you.
Wow. That's fancy.
Get it together, boy! You're going to kill all of us!
At this point, as you continue to climb, Meliodas, you said you changed that to a what, Mechanicus?
16.
16. Meliodas, you felt for a quick second that you were about to just come across a dizzy spell, as perhaps maybe the altitude started messing with you, and for a quick second you just shrug it off as you shake your head, as for a quick second you felt a little bit of dizziness, but you just came right back.
And you felt me poking in the butt.
As
ooh.
well, he's poking Theo's butt at this point, so
Yeah.
Poke him in the butt! Poke him in the butt fast!
At this point, you guys continue trekking. You see, at this point, you continue to see these parts of the wall itself covered in certain various parts of it, vines. Go ahead and roll. Everyone, go ahead and roll a perception check at this point, because everyone's pretty much right now teetering on parts that have vines and not. So at this point,
There it is.
Theo, you see just a couple of feet in front of you. you can see some of the vines. At this point, this vine is not very stealthy, as you can see some of it starts to kind of sway just slightly, as you can tell that that particular vine is not the friendliest.
Right. So I
Uh,
avoid it.
May, as you kind of looking about, and you just continue to scale, your feet goes into your spiked feet go into this one depression as you put your feet in to give yourself leverage, and automatically you feel a tug as a constriction around your leg, and starts to squeeze as you feel this tightness around. As you look down, you see the vines wrapping around, trying to pull you down from basically the area that you're in. Go ahead and roll an athletic check as you're contesting with this creature. As nice. Oh, wait a minute.
No!
Oh man.
Oh god.
As you're there climbing, and you're just trying to kick off this vine, and you for a second you felt like your feet was released as it just twirled. It basically wrapped further up into your leg, and now you feel your whole leg being tugged in as you're losing grip as this vine starts to pull you in. You see, everyone sees May at this point just release from her hands as she's grabbing on to the wall, and she's now dangling from one leg as you can see this vine just curling itself around it, pulling her like towards this depression, this alcove that it's sunken. May, you fall down. As you do so, you hit the side of the wall as you're hanging right now off your leg, and you take 5 points of bludgeoning damage as you feel pain on your back of your head as you slam against it upside down. At this point, you're just looking upside down as you could see the sky, and at this point, if you look up, you could see basically your companions below you as they're looking up at you terrified as you're just hanging there right now.
Can I grab my shuriken and stab at it?
Sure you can. So go ahead and roll an attack with disadvantage, since you're pretty much in a very peculiar position as you're trying to like stab at it upside down.
12.
A 12. Hold on one second. I just had it open and I screwed it up. You said it was a 12 to hit? Oh, no, disadvantage, right? Yep.
Yeah, that's at disadvantage.
Okay. Yeah, 12 as you look up and you're pretty much doing like a crunch, like sit up, like an upside down inverted sit up as you're going towards your feet, and you just stab it, and you see the as you pin it down with a shuriken, you pin it towards the wall, and you see it kind of vibrate as it almost starts to loosen you up. And as you do so, as it does so, you start feeling yourself give way at this point where you're not even holding on to anything. But it's at this point it's still there and almost tangling, but not quite, where you're almost being released, but at the same time it's being pinned, so it's not moving. It's just stayed where it's at right now.
I'm going
What everybody else is doing at this point before you do anything else?
I can't see this plant doing that.
Yeah, you could see May right now hanging upside down right now from as you look, you could tell there's a vine wrapped around her leg.
So my Mechanicus, seeing that, raises a hand up. Feste, Ruitore, Sunt, come and rise, there's a swarm of locusts. And he's gonna have the swarm of locusts eat the plant.
Alright. Go ahead and roll a con save while you're at it as well.
Alright, hold on, let me do the...
For the surge.
So how does the surge DC work again?
I have I have
1 plus spell level plus surge.
Hold on 1 second. You have your surge points, or
Yeah, I'm at 7.
you're at. You have 7 right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it'll be 1.
So it's right now.
plus
It's
7.
at. Yeah. Wait. No, wait. It's what's the spell level? That's what it is. It's part spell level.
0.
It's 1 plus spell level.
Yeah, but I have 7 surge points.
Okay, and that's a spell level 1 or something.
0.
Oh, it's a cantrip. Okay, yeah. So you're good. So that was all you needed was a 8 or higher at this point. But that adds to your surge at this point. So now you have 8 surge.
Yeah.
So at this point, you hear Mechanicus start saying his incantation as it starts to echo all over the cliff, and swarms of locusts just appear around your leg as you look up towards your leg where you're hanging off. You see parts of it just being chomped by this massive amounts of locusts, and as you see that, your leg just starts to give way. Your whole body just goes, and you just fall as the vine snaps. At this point,
As a
Hellscream
reaction,
and Meliodas will have to roll for a strength check.
as a reaction, I'm gonna cast Featherfall.
Oh, is
Wait,
that help?
my rope actually broke?
No, the vine.
But
Okay.
Fine.
I'm making sure like that you falling doesn't knock all of us off the mountain.
Yeah. So at this point, so nice.
That would have been a DC.
That's a
of 10.
9 now. Jesus. Oh wait, that would have been DC or what?
10 because it would have been 1
Gotcha.
plus spell level of 1 plus 8.
Yeah. So now you're at 9 points. May, you free fall for a quick second as you're about to hit the apex of your rope where you're about to pull the rest of your mates. For that quick second, you just slow down, almost like in slow motion, and just kind of you even see your hair kind of just flow slowly, like if you were in water. At this point, Hellscream and Meliodas, as they're looking at you, they just look at you. Hellscream's not here. Get back on the wall!
If
As
you
you-
can see my Canicus, you can see a bunch of tiny little feathers like floating past him where he had thrown them in the air.
Nice.
Those down feathers that you made fun of him for buying.
You didn't
Just
buy
saying.
any of it.
No, we stole them.
That's true.
Was it a strength check you said?
Yeah, but it was at this
Oh,
point.
but-
It doesn't even matter. These are the viney creatures, by the way. So at this point, everyone kind of braced for the impact. But Meliodas, as you see her kind of slow fall, you braced yourself for no reason, as there was barely any tug as she went towards the bottom. At this point, May, you just get your composure back as you slow falling for a quick second. You're trying to swim in midair towards the cliff. As you do so, as you catch it. And at this point, you're basically hanging off of Hellscream, and you're pretty much at the same level as Meliodas.
You had fun? He's like, yeah, I had fun.
Yeah. A little bit too much fun. And I'm going to grab my climbing axe and try to get back into position.
All right. No, I don't want that. So, this point, the group at this point gained a composure, and you look up and you can see the mist at this point very close. The mist is almost falling over your group at this point, as you can feel some of the cool breeze coming from it kind of cover the rest of you. You look up and you probably have just 20, 30 feet perhaps of more vines, but beyond that, maybe another 30 feet or so, as you feel that the very end of the climb is at hand. Everybody roll one more.
Mechanicus yells up, "Be careful! This is the most treacherous spot."
That's not bad. Oh god, man.
I've
14.
heard.
Athletic.
Wow. All right, so that is a 19 for Thumeric. May, it seems like that last encounter really took a toll on you, as at this point you really feel the exhaustion starting to creep in. Go ahead and roll another Constitution save. But as you look up, you know that the end is near, which is really helping your motivation right now, as you shrug off the effects and gain yourself perhaps one more second wind right before going into exhaustion. As the rest of you continue at this point, everyone reach the top of the cliff as you feel the mist cover the entirety of your body. You barely see perhaps 10-15 feet in front of you as you kind of look down. Hellscream, you're at the top at this point as you're pulling yourself up, and you look down and you could only partially see the rope and your companions disappear behind the mist as you keep helping them to pull up. As you help them pull up towards the wall itself at the plateau. And at last you see May. May, you look down, and at the same, as you can see just the mist covering everyone below. You see Meliodas at this point just appear, and then Theo, and then Mechanicus, and at last Jillian.
I mean,
Thumeric.
can they see me? How tall is this fog?
The fog just creates obscurity. It's not like, it's more of a mist, not like a fog where it's like covering your feet.
Okay.
So tired. Everyone near exhaustion at this point, especially May, where it took a toll in your body, where you had certain encounters that really took a toll in your whole physicality. But you look down, even though you can't see anything, you can see the mist, but you know at this point everyone has the sheer joy and satisfaction that you have climbed this red cliff. And we're gonna take a break from there.
Yeah.
5 minutes.
Give me 10 minutes. I have to wake up my son for he can pee, for he cannot pee in a bed.
All right.
That's what I have to do.
Are you potty training?
No, is that he's terrible at not waking up in the middle of the night and going to pee. He's 5, and he keeps sweating to bed. So I'm trying to like train him to like wake up in the middle of the night now. I'm trying to get him accustomed to that. Because he's a deep sleeper, so he doesn't even notice. So
Does he drink anything before bed?
no, I cut him off at
Oh,
7,
man.
and he goes to bed at
Goodness.
8:30.
Oh,
It's
a
ridiculous.
poor kid.
Yeah, he's a heavy sleeper. Like, I mean, I don't blame him. I'm like that too. But I think I stopped peeing my bed around his age. So hopefully. All right, we're back. What's up? Those are some clutch spells, man.
Yeah. Yeah, my wizard. He's not really a damage guy. He's more utility.
Oh yeah. That was awesome. Thanks, Jesse. You saved us, man.
I literally have one attack spell.
Which you used.
Yeah. I've used it more than anything, but it's by far my favorite spell as far as so far, but I'm getting worried because like that DC's getting harder to hit. Right now, if I do a cantrip, I got a DC of 10.
Jeez.
How many fucking cats does Miguel have?
I was wondering.
4.
It was like, there's 2 of them.
There's 4.
He has 4? What
Yeah.
the fuck?
So there's he had originally 2, and Nadine had 2, and when they got together, you know, they made a happy family.
Yeah, this is a full house. Here, you want to see? This is our first Christmas. Well, one of our first Christmas.
Oh, is that the one I took the picture of?
Yeah, you took that.
Yeah, I took that. I had my snazzy semi-pro camera, and it was funny what we did with the lighting. I still have it here.
It's
I
like-
just don't use it.
It's like yin and yang.
I love that picture. That picture's awesome.
That's Christmas picture.
That was when I was in my photography phase. That's what happens when you live in New York. You have so much to shoot living in the city. Living here in freaking next to nowhere just it sucks. Like I don't get that inspiration here. I mean, there's DC, but I don't want to go to DC. It sucks. It's
How
not
far
near
is
that.
DC from you?
Huh?
How far is DC from you?
It's about 45 minutes away.
Is that wine, Misty?
Yes.
What else would it be? Huh. Grape juice?
Kinda
Yeah.
is.
Grape soda?
We gotta end this game quick. It's time she gets the bottom of this glass, she's gonna be naked.
No.
Her balls are gonna be dragging the ground behind her. My Cannicus.
That reminds me of that episode from South Park when Marsh is like jumping on his balls. Forgot what was the name of that episode.
She's gonna bust out her hairy nipples.
Whoa. A plug?
And still, you end up with the 5 o'clock shadow. And not around the nipples. Like, there's hair growing on the nipples.
You know. Yes. No comment. Never mind.
Yeah, DJ told me. He said he would always have hairballs after y'all had sex. He'd be coughing them up half the night.
Well, I mean, we never really had sex, so.
Yeah, obviously.
Did you know you can make cookies with Sour Patch?
That sounds pretty crazy.
What?
Wow.
It's a
That-
thing.
doesn't
Yeah,
sound good at all.
it doesn't even sound good.
You know what is good actually is chocolate icing on top of the Sour Patch Kids.
No.
Like you use the chocolate icing as like a dip.
When I was a kid, we used to like my mom would heat up chicken nuggets, like the Tyson
Oh,
nuggets,
I remember that episode.
and we would get the Jello pudding snacks and dip our chicken nuggets in chocolate pudding.
What the fuck?
You guys are
You got-
very experimental.
Eat
Well-
ketchup as a kid. I had to do something.
I only tried the chocolate icing on it was because in the high school I took AP American History, and this girl created a very racist slave ship. She used the Sour Patch Kids and covered them with icing as like the slaves and put them on the ship cake. And I don't know, it was like the best thing. It's American history in the South.
So is that what led to the question of what color is he?
Wait,
Remember that? Because I'm this little white girl, and this guy's grabbing me. Man, Ray, you got a cop stash going.
I know. I look like one of those 80s old-fashioned cop dudes.
Simon and Simon. Either that or it's there's candy. Get in the van.
Uncle
You know what
Jerry!
you're talking about.
Oh, Jerry.
Oh, Jerry. Oh, you missed it, Christian. They got to read
Christian.
stuff again.
Wait, what happened?
Last Friday's game.
Oh yeah, fucking.
Oh, Ray, Toby was wanting to know if you had an open spot in that game.
Fuck Toby.
Well, he's gonna, if he continues to play like how he used to, he's gonna die quickly. But yeah, I mean, I could fit him in. Just warn him.
Yeah, he'll be a kid, so he won't be taking notes. He's gonna be like, "You see a giant monster? I do my homework."
I'm going home.
Alright, so we're on top of this mountain. Is there a fog beast?
Don't give up ideas.
You just say we're on a topless mountain?
Is there a fog beast?
There is one now.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
It beats a 4-story house.
Hey.
There goes Ray.
Oh, God.
Who wants a mustache ride? I fucking love that movie.
Oh, God. Just a little more and it'd be up to par to that guy. Miguel, are you gonna join next Friday?
Let me see. I think next Friday it should be free. Let me my phone.
Oh man. All right. All right, let me know when everybody's ready.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Awesome. Alas, you finally reach the top of Redcliffe. And you're surrounded once again by this familiar environment as you see the mist create this obscurity. Everything within perhaps 15, 20 feet intermittently obscures it. As you see at this point the trunks and I should say the different variety of forest life. You're met instantly with what looks like trees that have ancient designs, probably echoes of the past, as you feel this ambience of the ancient times. Right. At this point, I'm gonna ask everybody to keep their eyes open. We can't solely rely on me to get to the ruins itself. This forest is unforgiving, and at times may lead you into areas that are unfulfilling, or I should. You get the idea. We've been in the mist before, so at this point, everybody would have to contribute at this point. Good. We should go north from here. As a matter of fact, we're closing into to dusk as it starts to. As you see, you don't see the sunlight, but you see the mist become this dull, bluish shadow instead. As you feel this cool breeze, being in this altitude, kind of swirl through you.
Perhaps we should make camp and proceed in the morning.
I suppose it's probably the best.
Right here at the top?
No, I don't want to be anywhere near those vines.
Well, then perhaps we should climb back down and camp there for the night. Of course we're going to rest here at the top.
Sounds like a bad idea, but we don't have any choice.
So at this point,
You're in mute.
I am.
No, it's Miguel.
I said May is
Oh.
exhausted. It might be beneficial for us to do so. She's in no condition to keep going forward.
I just don't want to be here next to those vines. Do I see any vinage around where we're at?
The forest floor and parts of the neighboring trees. It looks like it has the similarities of the foliage and vines that you had come across while climbing. If you would like, you can go ahead and investigate the area and search, perhaps, to see if the immediate area could be a threat.
9.
As you walk about, either poking at certain vines as you would assume probably jump at you and grab at you, but nothing seems to catch your attention as you do so. The rest of you.
Mechanicus digs in his pouch, and then all of you hear a familiar ding, 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 ding as he starts ringing his bell and walking around, muttering to himself while he swirls a little piece of silver wire in the air, walking a circle around where we're going to be making camp.
Thilmeric just shakes his head. Ugh. And he's there, like, trying to kindle a fire right now with this flint and steel.
And that's going to be alarm as a ritual.
All right. And the rest of you?
Just out, and I volunteer to take watch first.
All right.
I'll take second.
I choose to sleep.
I'll take 3rd.
Nonsense, you need your rest, girl. I will take 3rd watch.
Mechanicus, you sleep through everything. I've got 3rd watch. I just need a little rest.
He, as he rings his bell and mutters when he gets close to Meliodas, when your watch ends, wake me up.
I'll look over to May. Look back to Mechanicus. Alright.
Ding, 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 as he walks up.
At this point, you see Thumric right now kindling the fire. It's you see flames at this point, just flickering, growing as he starts throwing pieces of timber in it. As he begins to decompress and put his gear down and set up his bedroll for the night, as you see him kind of spread what looks like these dried up meat that he's like lining up next to the kindled flame at this point.
I'm going to lay out my bedroll and take out my herbalism kit and try to make something to relieve this headache that I have.
Okay. Just go ahead and roll a straight up. What's the herbalist kit? What does it use? For
I have it as wisdom.
Yeah, it sounds about right. Just go ahead and roll for it.
Whoa.
Yeah, you pretty much created I can't even think of the damn drug's name right now. Yeah, you made like the greatest migraine drug right now, and You have.
Aspirin?
You probably think you can probably sell it of how good of a migraine drug you just created, but you only have one, so so you ended up using it anyway. And the rest of you just go ahead and proceed to bed, right? Just to sleep for the night. I'm assuming just turn in.
Yep.
All right.
Till our watches.
Who's the first watch?
Theo.
All right, Theo. I would require you to roll a perception check while your companions are sleeping.
Yeah, my Canicus would have stripped naked.
That was okay. So everyone
That's the movie.
noticed the old man going down to his
He,
from
like-
his skivvies down to his
He
his
uses
birthday
his
suit.
nut sack as a sleeping bag.
He became like a giant pale bat as he pulled his. Never mind.
Bat wings his sack.
Yeah. 13 for perception. Theo, as you sit and you're next to the fire, looking around, you hear what sounds like footfall beyond the fog. And just kind of scuttles off at the sound of it.
Towards my direction, or like away or across?
It sounded like it just started to dissipate. The sound started to go away.
I kind of get alert and I pull out my gun.
Okay. So you just pretty much you have your gun at the ready. And you're
Right,
just
just
kind of
kinda-
looking at the direction of the sound.
Just scanning. I say, who's there? Show yourself.
And no response. You just hear the occasional crickets rolling in the background. You hear the occasional hooting, like terrible hooting sound. But nothing responds to your question.
Well, I hope you're not a coward.
And for the next
I'm just
hour,
kind of put my
for the next hour, your night goes uneventful. As your watch goes to an end. And who's next?
I go and tap on Meliodas' shoulder.
I'm up.
Tormelli.
All right. So he gets up and takes the post on the outskirts.
Just so you know, I heard some scuttering about. Sounded like footsteps.
Gotcha. He looks like half asleep at this point, so you're not sure if he really got what you said.
Listen, mira,
I'm awake. Scurrying footsteps, got it.
footsteps. Yes. Be at the ready. Don't fall asleep.
I won't.
Kind of give him a light slap on the face.
Ah!
Wake up.
Alright, I'm up.
Meliodas says you get up, stretch out for a second, get your gear together, just for your ready for your watch. Go ahead and roll a perception check.
I like the eyes of an eagle.
What'd you roll?
9.
A 9. Got eyes of an eagle. Oh yeah. and he's kind of looking around. Just silence beyond, besides just the normal night critters of the forest, as you hear nothing but the crickets and the fire cracking. And your shift ends. Nothing came out. Nothing had come to your attention, as your night was uneventful, or as your shift was uneventful, while you sat there and waited for the moment of sleep once again.
So I move over to Mechanicus. So like try to find a spot to shake him, but he's like totally naked. So I just like nudge him with my foot. Oh man.
Yes, yes, what is it?
It's your turn. Try not to stare at him.
Mechanicus is kind of like stretches a second, looks up. It is okay, you can take my turn, and then rolls over and starts going back to sleep.
I'll take his turn. So I go back and sit back in the same spot.
All right. Go ahead and roll another perception check. This time at disadvantage.
I've got to
As
see.
Oh,
A 4. A crit fail 4.
all right. You sit there. What do you do at this point, really? Like, what is Meliodas doing?
So at some point he'd get bored at looking around, and he would just look up to the stars, trying to not think about them.
You mean
so
the
he's just
fog?
preoccupied.
I
Yeah,
mean,
the fog.
The mist. No, what just happened?
Oh.
God damn it! What just happened?
the mist got him.
The mist.
Okay, here it
You
goes.
mentioned it.
Freaking Discord,
okay.
man.
Muted.
Sorry, hold on one
You're
second.
muted.
Discord is acting crazy, so I have to fix
Crazy.
it. Jesus.
Yeah,
So,
Jesus.
so basically just daydreaming at this point.
Okay. As you sit there, and you starting to feel a little bit on the tired side, being that you just took someone else's shift. You hear a little bit of rustling coming from her side, where you see some of the mist kind of being distorted around this bush. And once again, you see the bush kind of just, some of the leaves start to fall off of it.
Who's there? Kind of sit up.
It's stillness at this point, in silence.
I have you know I can use 2 weapons. So you better come out now. Oh god, I'm gonna die here. So he kind of stands up and like.
And out comes, out what looks like a bunny with very long ears at the end of it, kind of like a bobcat. There's like these little pieces of hair sticking out of the very end of its ears. Bunny is kind of like a matted brown color, but it has like these white stripes kind of obscured in different parts of its body.
Does it look threatening? You never know.
It's a scene from Holy Grail. Go ahead and roll an inside check. A holy grenade!
A 4. A solid 4.
A solid 4. You know, it could be threatening. You're sure that this thing is stalking you right now?
God, he's gonna draw his weapons. Hey, get back.
It's just it's about 10, 15 feet away from you. It's just staring at you, but with an alert look towards you.
So, after like about a minute of just staring at it,
Staring contest. It's just staring right at you.
it's like, oh, he's just gonna like, I don't know why, but he'll just pull out what left of the rations he had in his pack.
All right.
Yeah, throw it at it.
It just grabs it and looks down at it as it grabs it and just scuttles off, and it disappears into the bushes.
All right, I saved the group again. Looks back if
Hell
anyone's
scream.
away.
Hell scream. You're deep into slumber, and for an instant you feel this sense of euphoria as you feel as you're in this perfect place, perfect moment. Everything is lined up to your liking, your standards. Then you open your eyes and you feel yourself being dragged. And
Am I conscious?
yeah, you're
Or-
conscious, Meliodas, but this is all Hellscream.
Oh.
Goodbye, Hellscream.
Hellscream, as you
Damn.
look up, you open your eyes in a very dazed momentum, and you kind of look down and you feel your legs being tugged, and then you snap out of it as you feel your legs being constricted as you're being pulled into a direction towards the mist. Meliodas, at this point, you notice Hellscream almost at a slow pace I'd say about half of your normal speed, being pulled into what looks like the mist, into kind of obscurity.
Did the alarm ever go off?
As a matter of fact, it would, because this entity was within the alarm originally, as it started moving afterwards.
DM broken.
Yes. So the entity itself was already in the alarm, but started moving now, so it would have triggered it now, right? That's
Yeah.
how it works? Yeah. Okay.
It's anything that crosses it in any direction that I didn't sign to be safe from it.
Okay. Yeah, it was already in the area, basically. So I guess it crossed it when it was pulling it through it. So as soon as he pulled you through it, you hear Hellscream, Mechanicus alarm trigger, as the whole party at this point hear this screeching sound. Hellscream,
Yeah.
you see yourself at this point accelerating as your leg is being tugged towards a direction. No weapon in hand. You're not wearing your armor as you're sleeping, as you would properly.
God.
Right now, it's up to Hellscream with a
There ain't
reaction.
shit I can do.
Hellscream with a reaction, and Meliodas following that.
All right. So what's my reaction?
I don't know. You tell me.
Obviously, I want to I can't bite the fucker as he's pulling me because that's just distance. I mean,
I
will
mean, you
have
could
some
try
knee
to grab.
flexibility.
You could try to grab. I mean, whatever you think about. What do you want to do, man? Just let me
All right.
know.
Well, obviously, I'm gonna try to
You want to try to what? You broke up.
unconstrict. Obviously,
Okay, so
grab
you
at it.
want to try to grab at your leg and try to undo it, basically. Go ahead and roll an
Yes.
athletics check. As you just right now, you're riding on your ass.
24, motherfucker.
You're riding on your ass towards the mist right now. As you look down, you can see the vines that you have noticed once before, but this time these vines are thick, larger than the ones you have met on the cliff surface. This one rolled a 15 as you grabbed towards it and muscled your way off of this vine. As you do so, the vine just rolls away into the mist as it leaves you sitting on your ass right now, half naked. Meliodas, what you were doing at this point?
Did I see at what point the vine kind of retracted into the mist?
Yeah, you saw the direction it went.
And then Hellscream's awake, right? Or everybody's awake?
At this point, everyone's awake, but the only people that are alert is you and Hellscream.
Alright, so I'm just gonna like run into the mist in that general direction. And well, before that, I'm gonna scream to Hellscream, follow me if you can.
Alright.
Now that I say it, it's stupid. But that's Meliodas' impulse.
Bring me my weapon, boy.
Alright, so are you chasing this entity, this creature?
To the best of my ability.
Okay, go ahead and roll a perception check with disadvantage because of the obscurity of the mist.
Oh man, a 5. A 19 would have been nice.
It would have been nice. As you rush into the direction and you see the mist just kind of swirl around you, where'd it go? You just can't pinpoint the direction of this vine. And out of nowhere, you feel your leg as you look down. Go ahead and roll an athletics check.
It never failed me. 17.
Okay. Tie. I think he beats the tie, right? I can't remember now.
Ty goes to defender.
Yeah. Okay. So he beats the tie. So as soon as you look around, and I don't know, you feel the constriction on your leg, and instinctively you just and you just grab your leg and you just kind of pull it out as you see this large tentacle-like vine with thorns around it. At this point, it starts to retract once again as failure kind of goes towards it. You can make an attack as it tries to retract.
Yeah, I'm gonna try.
Go ahead.
7.
As you see it retract, of the obscurity of the mist just kind of gets the best of you as you try to thrust towards it, and you hit nothing but the dirt. Hellscream, I'm not sure what you're trying to do at this point.
Getting my weapon.
So you're running back. About 20 feet is where the camp was. He pulled you about 20 feet or so. You're only running towards the direction of where you think camp is because of the obscurity of the mist. But you kind of figured out what direction you were heading anyway. So you get there, you grab your weapon, and you want to run back?
Hell yeah. I think I'm
Okay.
gonna just let him take me by the feet and then
Go ahead and roll a. Go ahead and roll a perception check.
9.
What the rest of you guys are doing at this point, since you hear. I don't know what else. The freaking alarm. I don't know what it sounds.
Butt ass naked, balls swinging in the wind, and he reaches down, like seeing what's going on, and he starts grabbing the logs out the fire and just throwing them out into the mist in the direction that they're fighting, trying to light the area up.
Okay. So you
I
throwing like a piece of lumber of
Yeah, he's
torch
just
lumber?
grabbing like the sticks and the lumber, and he's like,
Go ahead and roll a general perception just to figure out if you're throwing it towards the proper area. Yeah. For some reason, your old keen ears picked up the echolocation of the area where your companions are.
Batwing, I am Batman.
As you throw in that direction, Hellscream, you're running towards Meliodas, and you see this torch piece of wood just pass by your head as it lands like 15 feet in front of you. You see Meliodas at this point, looking around like, oh, like trying to stab this creature or ready to attack. Meliodas, you see it retract in a certain direction. I don't know what you do at this point.
I'm following.
You're following.
Oh, do I see a hell scream at this point though?
You hear him? Yeah, you hear him coming. And
I'm
you see-
screaming.
There you go. You hear him coming. And then at this point, you notice that this trail is going deeper into the mist away from camp. What is the rest of you doing, Theo, May, and Jillian, as you wake up from this crazy alarm?
Since I already was kind of suspicious of something going on, I immediately I go to I light one of my torches. I take like the torch out of my bag and I go into the. Is the fire still going?
You're muted.
Oh no, I'm not.
Sorry.
He's
okay.
muted.
Yes,
Yeah.
there's a fire. There's still a fire.
So you said.
Yeah.
Okay, so am I able to use the torch as a weapon, like to?
It
Kinda-
can be as an improvised weapon, so you're gonna get disadvantage. Was it? No, you use it without a proficiency. That's what it is. You can use a weapon
Okay.
without proficiency, so you can just straight up D20 plus your strength.
All right, so I'm gonna take a torch and my scimitar,
All right.
and I just run out and just kind of survey and see if there's any other viney things.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a perception check.
No, I know where it is.
You're just looking around.
Eagle eyes.
You hear all the yelling and screaming and grunting from a particular direction, but you don't see anything visually harmful or threatening.
All right, I'm on the ready though.
All right, May, Jillian.
She's getting up kind of groggily, but after seeing my Mechanicus throwing timber out into the mist and Theo running over with his scimitar and everything, I'm going to get up, grab my whip chain, and follow Theo to the sound, in the direction
Okay.
of the sound.
Yeah, you can hear the loudness coming from a particular direction. You can just keep running towards that direction. You're not sure where you're heading into, though.
Can I check my surroundings as I'm running through?
You sure can go ahead and roll a perception check as you're just kind of running towards that direction. Yeah, you as you're running towards this direction, you see particular parts of wood or rooted areas of the trees. As you just kind of you notice areas that you would have to kind of scale over as that particular direction that you're running towards. You can hear your companions grunting and yelling at this point. So you can run past it, where like basically it's like these rooted areas with like large tree rooted roots, where you can scale it like with perhaps jumping over it.
Okay.
So everybody.
You gonna go that direction?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and roll an acrobatics check at the same time, as you could just. So as you're running towards it, your foot catches one of them as you try to leap over it. You kind of just tumble down and fall and roll towards the direction. Got pain on your side, but you shrug it off. There's nothing pretty bad as you get up and you continue towards that same area. Jillian, what are you doing?
So everybody left the camp and they're running after.
I think
Hellscream.
Mechanicus is the only one that's still there.
Yeah, butt naked, balls.
Oh, and Theo.
Swimming in the wind.
I think Theo's still there, right?
Nope, Theo took off with the torch.
Yes, he did.
Scimitar.
Yep. Okay, and Jillian, so it's you and Mechanicus at this point. And
So it's the-
Thumric, actually. As Thumric, as you see him kind of holding onto his crossbow, kind of looking around, alert.
Well, since he's not doing anything useful, and Mechanicus is just naked, Jillian's gonna start gathering up like more firewood and throwing it into the fire to make it bigger, so that they can see through the fog like which direction they need to come back to camp.
All right. So yeah, you just pretty much there's already a couple of like pieces of lumber and timber that Thumeric had already set up through the night. That way you could just kind of keep kindling the fire as far as keeping the fire alive. So you just grab the immediate ones and you start throwing it in there just to kind of try to get a larger flame. Perception. Okay. And we're back to Meliodas and Hellscream at this point. Meliodas, you're heading towards that direction where you think the vine creature was pulling away from. As you near it, you come against this large looking what looks like a tree wrapped with particular vines all over, just tangled around. You could see parts of that particular vine start retracting towards this tree, and as it does so, you see it also just lunge forward with a quickness towards you.
Whoa.
As it tries to attack you. Your DC is, or your AC, I'm sorry.
No, 15.
15. As you see this thorned tentacle basically come towards you and just slams as you kind of sidestep. Sorry, guys. You sidestep as you see the vine hit the ground. As you could see, not only hit the ground but also scrape through where you could see underneath the footing. Basically, you could see the rooted areas as it made a large dent on the overall surface of the floor. Dang. Your time to react at this point, as this tentacle is like right next to you, actually.
Would pulling out like something from my pack be a free action or bonus?
Depends
action?
what it is.
Flask of oil.
Yeah, that's a free action, I think. Yeah.
So I'm just gonna like pull it out and fling it at the tree.
Okay, so you can just throw it at the tree. Go ahead and roll a dex check just to see if you can just try to get it right on it.
Come on. 18.
That's gonna be your attack as you see the oil splatter against it. At the same time, you see the mist just kind of rolling around it. Hellscream, you instinctively catch up to Meliodas as you see him throw this vial at this tree, where you could see this large tentacle like right next to him, kind of just swirling around as it's moving. Its large tendril.
Gonna shout to Hellscream, light it up!
Out of pure rage, he doesn't even hear Meliodas charging at the tree.
You think you're past, bro, I understand.
What do you do?
Is this an actual a tree?
It looks like it's a tree. Go ahead and go ahead and roll the intelligence check. How about that?
Fuck, I'm like the dumbest person here, dude. I believe in you. Oh, that didn't go through? What? I hit it. A 10.
It looks like a tree. That tree looks like it's attacking Meliodas.
Alright, I'm gonna swing at the tree.
As you go towards it. As a reaction, as you went into its space, it tries to swipe you with one of what looks like another tendril besides the one that's right next to Meliodas. With a 14 to the attack.
I have no idea if that hits me or not.
What's your fucking AC, man?
It's 16 with chainmail, but I don't know. I'm fucking naked apparently.
Oh, you're naked. What's your dex?
+1, 13.
Yeah, so you see this tendril, thorny, like just like whip across you, like kind of like a clothesline, as it almost knocks you off your feet as you're hit with bludgeoning damage for 4 points of damage, as you just almost dropping your halberd at this point. You're still go. It's still your turn. That was just a reaction.
What the fuck is his range, by the way?
Huh?
Tentacles.
It was a tentacle. It was a 10-foot range, kind of like your halberd.
Motherfucker. Alright, because of that. Wait. A 10.
A 10. As you just swinging. This tree is gonna die. As you just swing at it, and you're just hitting pure bark, and you just see parts of it just chip off of it, and you just struggle to just take your halberd off of it as you're just chopping down on this tree. But as you get closer, you can see that part of the tree, that the tree itself is like it has a symbiote over it, where you can see this green, large green viney. Brown and green vines kind of rolling, constricting around the tree. Who's next? Theo. You are up next as you are running towards your companion as you can hear them yelling. Go ahead and roll a perception check as you're trying to run. You're pretty much running into the blinding fog right now, or mist.
Does my torch help me, like, more? I get an advantage with that? With the torch?
The torch is really just lighting it up, but it's not really cutting through the obscurity of the mist itself.
I tried.
Damn!
You can pinpoint exactly where they are as you're just running this one direction. You just just avoiding certain parts of the path, as you can see. Like some of it could be vines, but you're just making sure you want to basically avoid the threat of you putting your foot into probably a potential hazard. As you get there, and you just see Hellscream right now just hacking away, hacking at this tree, and Meliodas just dancing around with this tendril that's right next to him. What do you do at this point?
Does Meliodas see me? Do they see me coming into the scene? Or they're just too busy looking at their things?
I think at this point they're too engaged at this very moment as you just showed up.
Alright, so I guess I'm gonna help out. I mean, how close are they to each other? Hellscream and Meliodas.
My bad. Meliodas is about 10 feet from you, and another 10 feet from him is Hellscream, where he's next to this tree right now.
Okay, so Meliodas is 10 feet away from Hellscream.
Yeah, you, and he's also 10
Fighting,
feet from
tendril.
Hellscream. He's between the two of you, basically.
So I'm going to run to actually Meliodas and swing with my scimitar.
All right, so you're gonna go straight up, just hack with your scimitar. Go ahead and roll an attack, as you see the tendril right now, this viney, thorn-like tendril, just kind of just whipping about. With the 23, as you just come down at it, and you see part of the tendril just snap off, and at that point you hear towards the tree a screeching noise, and the tendril kind of whips back, retracting itself towards its center, basically. May or Mechanicus, actually, right? Yeah, it was Mechanicus. You're basically still at the camp, kind of keeping watch. I'm not sure what you're doing at this point.
Airing out his balls.
He's airing out his balls. Yeah.
So everybody running off. Mechanicus just like slowly turns to his stuff and starts putting his clothes on. Like no rush, no nothing. He'll get there when he gets there.
So it's pretty much you're just preparing yourself to perhaps to help your companions.
Yeah, he's just like getting dressed. He figures that after this, nobody's going back to beds. We're gonna keep going.
Okay.
They've got the tree thing handled, so
No, we don't.
So at this point, everyone at this point, you can start hearing the melee between Meliodas, Hellscream, and even Theo, and even the screech of this particular mysterious creature, as this high-pitched sound. As you hear this high-pitched sound, you feel a rumbling around underneath the campsite. As right underneath, you see coming from the dirt, like a zombie coming out of the ground. You see parts of tendrils, like 3, 4 of them, smaller, like the ones that you've noticed going up the cliff, start to vibrate when it heard the screeching noise coming from that one particular entity. As it does so, it starts to kind of retract itself in a way towards that direction. You do anything else beyond that, Mechanicus, as everyone notices this?
He's still getting dressed.
All right, May. At this point, you're running towards the area where you hear all this commotion, all this melee. You hear the screech. At this point, you see, as you're running towards it, you feel like you're getting closer, and out of nowhere, you see this large tendril, almost clotheslining you. Go ahead and roll a dexterity save as you see this large tendril just swiping through towards you. With a 14, you just see this thing go right above you as you just go into like a baseball slide, avoiding it like some freaking ninja. As you see this tendril just swipe over you, as you notice the area that you're in, right, I'd say 15 feet from you, you can see Theo and Meliodas at this point engaging in one of the tendrils, while Hellscream is right now just kind of just raiding his weapon towards the tree itself. This tree that you pretty much almost coming across on, where this one large tendril is dancing. It's in a very kind of weary snake-like manner as it's kind of waiting for its next strike right next to you. That was a reaction, so I don't know what you do. Huh?
How close is this thing to me?
It's within range. It's within attacking range right now to you.
Alright, I'm going to use my whip on it and try to restrain it.
All right, so you go ahead and roll for attack as you just as you do so. The whip kind of hit it in a manner where it barely did anything to it. It just kind of retracts for a second, and it just looks like it's about to be ready for like smacking, like wailing down at you.
I am going to use a key point to give flurry of blows.
All right. Awesome. Go ahead. First and second.
It is not my one.
You gotta visualize the deer when you do that.
I know, right?
With a 9 and a 5, which is a crit fail. And you just have no luck as you just can't comprehend this weird, obscure movement that it's doing, as you can't track where you're trying to hone in on your attacks. And that's gonna be the end of your turn.
Yeah.
Jillian, at this point, as you're putting the timber on the fire, you see this the vines at your feet, as one of them looks like it's nearing towards you, as slow manner just started crawling towards your feet.
I'm sorry, this thing's creeping up on me?
Yes, it is.
And I see it.
You see it. That's when all of them came out and started kind of like shaking when that screech that everyone heard in the forest. These other vines happened to join into this encounter.
Make it worse.
Okay.
What do you do as it crawls near you?
Well, of course, I'm gonna slowly back away from it,
Okay, as you
but
just
not
slowly
not
backing
to
away.
make any sudden movements.
Okay.
Uh,
That's all you do? You're just gonna back away?
no. Hold on. Sorry. Looking through my stuff. So, I'm actually gonna creep towards it
Okay.
and hit it with chill touch.
Awesome. Okay. Go ahead and roll for nice. a
21.
21. That is to the that's for the attack or the damage. I can't remember. This is it gotta avoid it, right? What's the DC on it? No, it's a 21's a hit. Okay. Let's
Yeah,
make sure.
it's a 1d8
Okay.
necrotic damage.
Okay. So as you reach out, what is that? A level 1 spell? Or is it a cantrip?
I cast it at level 1. No, it's a cantrip.
Okay, awesome. As you reach down and you let this surge of energy, this deathly energy that just pours out of your fingertips, as you see that the plant itself and the vines start to wither into the decay as it starts to trickle down, kind of like a domino effect, as you see the decaying effect trickling down to the very end into the ground. And as you see it slump into the ground, almost withering away. At this point, you see other parts of plant life along the encampment, along the campsite. You start seeing some other ones start to wither as well with that. Also, roll a Constitution save.
$14.
Everybody just rocks their con save, man. All right, I'm gonna add another point to that. Okay. And we're at this point. You see Thumric. What's going on? And he's just kind of holding onto his his crossbow, perplexed because he doesn't know what's going on. He just heard the alarm just go off, and then he see these plants come up in the ground, and then parts of it just starts to wither, die. As he looks over at you, Jillian, and he just noticed you kind of just touching it after viewing the plants withering in front of you. And he just looks at you, and Mechanicus, where's the others?
I just kind of point to the direction that I see the vines hut we're going to. I
Okay.
was just like, that way.
And he starts running that direction, and then he trips. As he looks down, and you see one of the vines actually starting to wrap around his ankle. He lets go of his crossbow and tries to wrestle it with his bare hands. And he will more likely, he does not succeed, as he's there trying to wrestle this vine. As part of it starts to suck him or pull him towards the ground, and you see part of his feet start to disappear underneath the ground, underneath the dirt actually. His foot right now is kind of like being pulled into the encampment dirt in the immediate area you guys are in. Meliodas, we come right back to you.
All right. So I don't know if you're gonna allow this. There's the tinder box. Does it come with a flint?
Yeah, I'd say
So-
come with it.
Can I pull that out as a free action?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So, I drop my dagger, pull out my tinder box and I'm gonna rush forward towards the tree and stab my rapier in it as a holding, and then like run the flint across the blade.
Nice. Okay, go ahead and roll an attack with the tree. Just don't roll lower than a 5.
18?
18. So you go up to the tree, not caring where you're gonna hit it exactly. You just thrust your blade into the tree as the tree at this your rapier right now. So you feel it stuck and stable, and you go ahead and run your tinder, your flints over your weapon. As you do so, large spark just ignites, and quickly just the tree just starts to engulf in flames, and more of the screeching that had come previously from this creature. And you see parts of it wiggling, like just wiggling about. The tendrils and tentacles that were around May, and even the ones that were kind of retracting, you see them kind of just like just wiggling about frantically as parts of it just kind of just swaying about.
Do I have enough movement to get away, or I'll take the fire damage if I don't? So yeah, I'll let go of my rapier and just like step back about 5-10 feet.
Yeah, as you do so, you see this thing just engulfed in flame. It just took 7 damage of 7 fire damage at this point. As the fire just grows at this point, it's growing. As you can see, the oil is kind of feeding off it. Hellscream, you're witnessing this ordeal where
Yes.
this flame, engulfed flame right now, which is starting to grow.
Can May see me? Like, frontal?
Yeah, May's in the immediate area with you guys at this point.
I was about to take a piss on the tree.
But you're gonna put it out, man.
Not completely.
Yeah.
Seeing that, I take like 5 feet, maybe 10 feet steps back,
Okay.
and just watch as it burns.
Burn, baby, burn. As you're just looking at this tree engulfed in fire, part with this symbiotic looking plant that's kind of attached and growing on one side of it, as it's just withering about, frantically just swinging its tendrils. May, at this point, one of them kind of swipes over you once again as it's kind of just frantically just wailing its tendrils. Go ahead and roll another dexterity save. With the 14, once again, you just duck right in time as you see the tendrils kind of just going everywhere. Theo.
Yeah.
What do you do, man?
We can't hear you,
You're
dude.
muted.
You're not muted, but we can't hear you.
I think he's thinking.
Hold on. It's my camera. It's like,
No, he was like mouthing out words.
alright.
You're attacking. You're gonna attack. At this point, you're gonna attack like maybe like one of the tendrils that's kind of wiggling about. But as you move near it, you still have a shot at like the overall center mass that's on the tree itself. So if that's the case, go ahead and roll an attack. I don't know how you want to attack it. You want to attack it range, or you want to attack it with your scimitar? Actually, don't you have a scimitar and a torch in one hand?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So you can attack with the scimitar. Go ahead and roll.
10.
Yeah, as you went near it, you just hacked towards it, and you only kind of ricochet, or say just glance over over the tree itself. Is that gonna be the end of your turn?
Yep.
All right. Mechanicus. At this point, your clothes is fully on. You see parts of the plants in the immediate area kind of just wither and fall down. But you see Thumric at this point being pulled into the ground.
Thumric, this is no time to be playing. Everyone else needs our help.
Yeah, you psychotic old man, help me!
He walks up, looks down. What seems to be the problem?
As you walk over him, you can see the vines just wrapped around almost up to his knee, where it's pulling him in. Oh, he's a dwarf, actually. So it's more like almost up to his groin.
Let the dwarf go. And he's gonna hit it with his stick.
Go ahead and roll an attack. Nice. A 17 to the attack. What was that, floor bludgeoning?
Two-handed.
Two hands. You did the douse. You shall not pass. Kind of
The
stab to the
dwarf shall
ground.
not pass.
All right. So you hit it with 6 damage as you smack it, and immediately it loosens up as you see Thumric pull his leg out of the ground, and he's kind of just rolling away from it as he's prone right now. That's at the end of your turn. You decide to do
Do I
anything else?
have any movement left?
Yeah, he was like 10 feet away from you, so you have 20 feet at least.
Now, quit playing around over here. We have to help the others. And then he's just gonna walk off,
All right.
going toward the big blaze in the distance.
All right. So you're just going towards the blaze. Well, at this point, you really can't see the blaze very much because of the obscurity, but you can definitely hear the commotion that's going on in that direction. It's gotten so loud that it's pretty easy to tell what direction the
But
of
I'm
the
having
melee's happening.
that. So I'm echolocating these fools.
All right. Was it May?
Yep.
Yeah. I did this on the fly without any initiative. I just thought I just ran with it. I don't know about you guys.
This is cool. It's organic.
May, at this point, you're just dodging out of the way of this tendril. You see this creature right now. It's just in flames. It looks like the flame is starting to chart in certain areas, but at the same time, the flame is starting to look like it's dying off as parts of it. It's kind of putting out the flame itself. Having a having a tough time at the same time, though.
How far am I from the tree?
You're 10 feet from the tree. You're basically up against it.
I am going to pull out my flask of oil,
All right.
open the top, and throw it on the fire.
Awesome. Okay, go ahead and roll an. You're 10 feet, so you go ahead and roll a dex. Awesome. So throw the other flask as it just shatters over it. An immediate, just large flames start to engulf not just the actual entity. Let's be clear here. It's just a vine blight, if I want to get technical. As you see the vine blight at this point just engulfed, all in flames. Not only that, you see the surrounding tree that's on. That it's pretty much growing out of kind of like a tumor from this large tree. It starts to once again just wail, and you see it at this point fall off of the tree as it's in the ground right now, just thrashing about. Who was the closest to it again? It was Meliodas when you were up against it.
Yeah.
Okay. As it falls down, I want you to roll a dex save just to avoid this flaming vine carcass.
Bye, guys. 23.
Nice. As you just look up and you see this large, the vine blight just engulfed in this flames. It's all charred up, and it just detaches itself from the tree as it falls down. And you look, and you just do like a baseball dive out the way as it just crashes into the ground, thrashing about. And slowly, the vine starts to move slowly until it doesn't.
God, you're ugly.
Theo, you see that the fight is perhaps over, but at the same time you hear what sounds like Thumric out from the encampment, going into a yell. What do you do from there? I'm sorry. You know what?
Follow.
I skipped over someone. Jillian. You see this vine that Mechanicus just attacked with his staff, just wiggling about. Yeah, just doing one of these, and part of it's starting to retract into the ground surface. But at the other end, you can see the origin of the tendril that it's coming from, basically. What do you do?
Does it look like it's retreating, or
It looks like it's trying to move away from the encampment, but it from what you can tell is that some of it went underneath the ground and up, and then it's coming right back towards its origin, basically.
is it within like my movement range?
Yeah, it's about 15 feet, 20 feet.
Well, then of course I'm gonna try and touch it again with some chill touch.
So you're gonna run towards it and just go ahead and grab onto this thorny vine for 12 damage 12 damage, 12 to the attack, as is exactly what you needed. As you grab onto this vine, and immediately you just start seeing just the spread of this decay around this vine. As it tries to retract, it snaps off the partial decayed part of the vine as you look over and you see where the origin is coming from. It's it's about the same size as the one you saw that was grabbing onto May when they were on the cliff. A tiny one, about medium size to a human. As you hear the screech coming from it. With a constitution of 5.
I mean, it was bound to happen.
It was bound to happen. You feel this surge come around, just start to build. Mechanicus, you see this aura just form around her. This powerful aura just engulf Jillian at this point. And starts to swirl around her. As it swirls around her,
Like, Mechanicus is like slowly ducking behind a stump.
it swirls around her and it cloaks her into this dark shadow that reeks with brimstone, and it just kind of just speeds up, almost like in a tornado effect, and it just vanished into the sky. But you still see this shadow, kind of this aura that's trailing behind her, and you still have that sense of smell of brimstone. For an hour, Jillian, you have advantage on charisma intimidation checks and disadvantage on charisma persuasion checks for an hour.
So she's got like this like demon shadow thing behind her?
Sort of, yeah.
I'm sorry, what do I have?
She has a very shadow, almost not demon, it's more like a shadow of a wraith or shade will leave.
The effect?
Yeah.
So
Every time you move, you have like this weird shade effect.
No, the other effect.
You have advantage on intimidation and disadvantage on persuasion for the next hour, which is not much if you guys can go rest again. And you also, like I said, you also smell this this really potent brimstone coming off of you as well.
Now,
Is that something that can be showered away? Or does that stay for an hour?
I don't know. At this point, you see the creature that you had cast chill touch on, as you see the decaying effect start to trail towards its core as it starts to wither down and kind of just dissipate into the ground. And for that moment, silence in the forest comes back. And we're going to end the game right there, guys.
Talk about the rude awakening.
good session.
That
guys.
whole vine thing was by chance that I rolled. I didn't expect this session to go that direction or end there. So I was saying before, I was like, this is an impromptu session because there's chance rolls for encounters. So you guys fought off.
How did you come up?
You guys fought off a large
initiative?
vine blight, basically. The initiative was on the fly. I was just like, hey, let's go with order of who wants to do something, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yep.
I have to get up in like 3 hours, so.
Oh, you'll be
Oh
alright,
my
man.
God, go to sleep.
I know you're
Bye.
passing out.
Take it easy, brother.
Good night,
Oh
man.
no, because I got up early. All right, guys. Good night.
Good night.
It's a good session.
Yay!
It's fun. Y'all need to start pulling y'all's